full of muscle can't stop me. Hey,
One.
come on.
Fight.
Hello, and welcome, everybody, to yet another episode of the Swindler podcast. This one's going to be pretty exciting. Hope you're all doing well. It's actually Anzac Day here in Australia, so we've actually got the day off, which is fantastic. And that happened to line up perfectly with the schedule of today's guest. I hope you guys are all excited because it's going to be a really, really good one. We're going to get a very unique perspective on both a specific scene and region, as well as a specific skill set required to single-handedly hold up a scene. We've got old mate Chop who's going to be joining us. So that's going to be fantastic. We'll give an introduction to him in just a moment, but my co-host Hangman, how you going, brother?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome everyone to Friday episode, Anzac Day special episode of the Swindler podcast. Exactly. And as per usual, this is our vehicle to getting Majin Obama on the podcast one day.
Absolutely, dude. I'm so keen for that day, man. I'm so keen for that day. No, we've got a really good one ahead though. What were you going to mention there?
I'm gonna make sure to do my best hustle at BAM.
True. Is he attending this year?
I'm not allowed to say more than that, I think. Actually,
not allowed to say more than that.
Actually, I don't know anything.
We don't know anything. We don't know anything. Pun Life, Sega, hope you're both doing well. Big Chopper indeed. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hope the two of you are having a wonderful morning, actually. I don't know how you're always on in the morning, Sega. You're always in these streams at mid-morning on weekdays. What's going on, brother? So we've got a few things that we're going to touch on in this episode, but before we get to any of that, we just wanted to talk some upcoming events. Wildo, my brother, hope you're doing well, man. It's good to see you in the Crew Cup, which we're going to touch on later. Just a few things coming up. We've got, let me see if I can chuck this on the screen for all of you. Ta-da! Evo Japan is just around the corner. Hangman, any updated thoughts on Evo Japan? I don't think much else has been announced.
Well, we are playing the patch that will be the Evo Japan patch.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be something, all right. I think I'm sure we'll talk about a lot more about this, but a lot of the pros have put in more, I guess, opinions after the emergency patch. We might talk about that a little bit later. It's building all the sentiments coming to Evo Japan, and I think we also have a few Australian players going to Evo Japan as well.
Yep. It's going to be huge. It's in 13 days, 4 hours, 51 minutes, and 23 seconds. So get primed. If you're not signed up already and you can be there, maybe consider, because it's going to be an amazing event. The Evo events are always fantastic, especially to spectate, from what I understand. And you're going to see a lot of plus frames. You're going to see a lot of laws. But I think it's going to be a good event. I'm definitely curious to see what entails with the patch. And here we've got the Start GG page. You can see there's 8,797 attendees for this event on the whole. That's inclusive of all games. It's not just Tekken. But it is going to be a major event this year. And it's going to be where we really see whether or not this patch is going to be well received from a competitive standpoint, because obviously we've had events since the patch has gone live. We recently had Nations Cup, which we will be touching on shortly. I think the nature of Nations Cup being a team event, there's probably less focus on some of the war crimes that have been committed in this patch, but we'll see. We'll see how things show out at Evo Japan. I'm excited. Hope you guys all are too. For those of you who are local, we've got BAM coming up, Battle Arena Melbourne, May 30th to June 1st. If you're not signed up, please sign up. This is Australia's major. We're going to be having some internationals showing up. I know Ulsan's going to be in attendance. We've got a few Korean players coming down. I believe Book should be there as well. So come on down for Battle Arena Melbourne. It's going to be wonderful. I am indeed entering into this tournament. So it's a chance to kick my ass and make fun of me in a public setting. But without further ado, we might introduce today's guest. Chop, how you going, brother?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Well, I guess good evening for you guys, or
Good
night. It's quite late in Australia.
Yeah. But yeah, hey guys, really glad to be here. I saw the Pun Life episode a few weeks ago and I was like, oh, I've got to get myself in, man. I've got to do something, get my clout up to get in this podcast.
Gotta do it,
So
dude.
yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, and there's a lot to discuss about. But yeah, I'm really excited. Hangman, are you going to EVA Japan? Did you mention that? Or are you just talking about the patch?
Oh no, we're just talking about the patch. I'm not going to Evo Japan,
Yeah.
but maybe one international event this year is on the table, depending on the state of the game. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I feel like EVO Japan is always this event. I mean, maybe the only EVO Japan that wasn't a one that had a messed up character balance after season 3 was EVO Japan in Tekken 7 season 4.
Mhm.
But that's because it was post COVID and like the game had like a couple of updates. But EVO Japan just feels like a cursed shit tournament for Tekken because that's when
Yeah,
like
it
the new
always
season comes
does.
out. Yeah, it's a new season, a new game, and everything's unbalanced. Nobody's sure what's really going on. It's a huge mess. It's gonna be interesting this year. Like I know a lot of people calling it the Lars, I guess EVO Japan or something, but it's to be seen. Like in Japan, there's actually a few Lars players there, so yeah, you never know. Nobody
Mhm.
plays Lars as well.
He does.
So yeah, I wonder if it's gonna be a last tournament. I wonder if it's just gonna be the same like characters like Yoshi and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's gonna be interesting. Let's see what happens.
I'm
Yeah,
super curious.
we don't really have a consensus. You know, the first tier list I see this patch, like a legitimate tier list, is from Lee Mishima, that Poultry shared
That
with
doesn't
me.
really count. That doesn't really count.
Yeah,
That
it doesn't
doesn't
count.
really count.
Yeah, you know, like nobody knows, right? Like everyone's saying this character's good, that character's good. People are changing characters. It's gonna be crazy, and you're right. Evo Japan does have a history of being absolutely scuffed. Um, I think they changed this at some point. The TWT tour didn't used to start at Evo Japan. It used to start earlier in the year. And ever since they moved it to Evo Japan, it's been like this.
Yeah, they've made it a cursed tournament. But again, I'm not going. I know a lot of my friends are going. I know Gussain, I know Joka, I know a couple of the UK guys are going. I've shared on a few others maybe.
Mhm.
But yeah, good luck to them. I'll be watching from my comfort of my home.
I think that's the safest approach, man. Can't get mixed up if you're at home on the couch.
That's it.
But Chop, dude, you've actually been on the list since we put this podcast together. So I was so stoked when you tuned in during Pun Life's episode. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like, what do you do in the scene? Who are you? Who do you play? What's going on?
Yeah, so for those that don't know me, my name is Chop. Go by Chop Khan on Twitch. I used to go by my government name, but then I realized like my IRL name may seem a bit odd to the FGC, so let me just become one of you guys. So yeah, I do a few things. So I say like the way I started in the scene. Well, how I got into Tekken is a bit interesting. I was like a Tekken 7 baby, as they would say, perhaps. Not season 1 and not even like a season 2, but like early season 3, late season 2. So there was this, I think everyone knows that one video that school esports done for Arslan Ash.
Yep.
It's like the Pakistani American or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I forgot the name. But yeah, I was just scrolling for YouTube. I used to watch a lot of Dota and CSGO. I love Dota to this day. It's my favorite game. I stayed up last night playing 1 a.m. Dota because I love that game so much.
Grinder.
With my friends. It can't beat that experience. But they just done a video about Arslan and Tekken. And I'm like, I remember Tekken because I'm Pakistani. My parents are from Pakistan. So ethnically I'm Pakistani. So I used to go to Pakistan a lot as a kid, and I lived there even for like 2 years, which is a very interesting period. But regardless, I remember playing Tekken with my cousins on the PS2, Tekken 5. And I used to think, yo, this is the shit. This is peak. I'd play Lee, my brother would play King, my other cousins played Brian. I don't think anything beat that, right? But then I saw this Arslan Ash video. I'm like, oh, this guy's from my parents' country. Like, this is from the country that I've been to, and he's good. Because I think in esports, Pakistan isn't a very, notable region at all.
No,
I think it's given like, and obviously Pakistan has a lot of issues. It doesn't have the best global PR or soft power in any form or facet, but people like Sumail from Doha is a pretty good example of Pakistan talent that came from Pakistan directly. Like Sumail used to play in PC cafes and stuff. So when I came from Doha, so when I heard about this Arslan guy, I was like, is this like another Sumail? Like, what's the thing? And then I watched it. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
he just won. And I think what inspired me the most is probably like his struggle to get to Japan.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone knows, like, if you're from a country like Pakistan or any other country, if your passport's weak, your life choices are in the globalized economy isn't the best.
No.
So he struggled to get, entry, food and stuff like that. Obviously I'm British, so it's not a problem for me, but I have like family still in Pakistan that, they want to travel the world. They just want to travel and see the world, but they can't even go that many places. They can only go to places like, I don't know, Ethiopia or Thailand. That's like their two choices. So they're quite limited. So I found it very inspiring, like, the determination, the hard work. And yeah, that's how I actually got started. And through that, me and my best friend, we both bought Tekken together. It was like a sale.
Yep.
It's Tekken 7. We watched Evo, and I still think that's maybe the best Evo I've seen to this day. The 2019 Evo. Yeah, it was pure class, honestly. Yeah. Even like watching Anakin going through everything, but then I remember those levels because I saw Arslan versus Anakin, and I just remember how badly Anakin lost against Arslan. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that was painful. And then Anakin, yeah, those levels, and it was also Nee's comeback against Anakin in that tournament was insane as well. I think he was like 2 games down. He just made like the craziest comeback with Paul. So I remember that tournament super well to this day. It's entrenched in my memory. But yeah, so I remember watching Evo, and then all my other friends bought Tekken, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna get good, but they were all league players, so they couldn't, take an L by themselves. I'm serious. Like, I genuinely think if you play team games a lot by yourself, it's hard to. You get tunnel vision. You don't understand what's your own problem.
Yeah.
So it was just me and my best friend that would just play Tekken against her. He played Dragunov, I played Steve, and yeah, we played for a bit. But I picked Steve for I think a very odd reason because I wanted to play Horang or Lee because I remember those two from Tekken 5, and I thought Horang was cool. Then I saw the eye patch. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, but I played Steve because I was looking up like who's Nee, who's this JDCR guy. Who's this, Saint guy? Like, there's a Saint? Like, what's going on? Anyways, I saw Nee's, like, combo breaker run.
Yep.
And it was just, like, a video of all his matches. And I just saw this guy play Steve. And I just saw the, Gatling gun. I'm like, what? He can throw a lot of punches? That's cool. I'm going to play him. That was legit it. I just saw someone do something cool. Yeah, and that was it. And I didn't know what I got myself into because I feel like that might have hindered my growth a lot at the start because I couldn't do it. I was really bad for the first year. Like, I really didn't look at resources or anything. I just played for fun.
Yeah, it seems a hard
that's
one
why
to
I always
take
say
that approach for.
Yeah, especially in 7, where he was such a counter hit focused character.
Yep.
It was not very it's not very telegraphed what to do with him. Everyone just like when you play him the first time, you're like, he's a fast character. Yeah. He throws fast moves, right?
Yeah.
But you realize everyone's just 10 frames. Everyone's got a 10 frame. Everyone's got like the same down forward one. He just gives that illusion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think when I started with him first, it was a bit weird. And when I started like, okay, let me learn a combo. Season 3 happened, and like Shiro and down forward 2 started. Down forward 2 got nerfed, so it became Shiro. And I was like, oh, I can't do a Shiro. I can't do this. But I just started playing a lot, and I remember I learned my first combo in the most weirdest way. But actually, I'll get back to that. Anyways, so me and my friend were playing a lot, and we wanted to go offline. And my friend didn't want to really go; he just didn't give a shit. But I really wanted to like check out the offline scene and stuff. So, if you don't know, I'm assuming everyone knows who Spag is, right? Like the commentator and stuff. Yeah, legend. Yeah. But anyways, so Spag, I followed him on Twitter, but then I saw his brother, and his brother went to the same university as me, he went Queen Mary, and he studied physics, and I studied physics like a bit there. So I was like, oh, let me just follow him. Right, follow an alumni. Anyways, he just posted a job for like this gaming event. It's called EGX. I don't know if you've got equivalent. It's like Gamescom essentially.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So I just went to that. He's like, does anyone want to work? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to earn some money. I'm a broke student. And I've been watching a lot of Tekken, so I watched the Poland Master event, the one Gosen got third in. And I was just walking around. I saw Gosen. I just went up to him. I'm like, oh, are you Gosen? It's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw your thing. And generally, that's how I met, like Gosen. I just saw a video of him. Yeah. I saw the stream. I met him in an event. I'm like, oh, you Gosen? He's like, yeah, that was it. And then I just asked him, like, where do you guys play? right? Like, how do you guys, play offline and stuff like that? He says there's Elf, and then there is Red Bull Gaming Sphere.
Yep.
So it's cool. So I messaged Elf, and I had like a shitty fake Argos. I don't know if you know what Argos is. I don't know if you've showed it.
I haven't thought about Argos in like 15 years. It's like a homeware store.
I was 19 and I was like, yeah, I'm broke. I'm gonna buy a controller from Argos and Xbox.
Oh
I played
my
on PC.
god,
So
they sold controllers. That must have been like the shittiest.
well, oh yeah, I still have it. Like I still keep it from memory. But yeah, it was like a fake Xbox controller that was like for 15 quid or £10. And I was like, oh, could I use it in Elf? And they're like, oh, we only use PS4s. So I'm like, okay, this won't work. I'm like, could I borrow a controller? They said, oh, unfortunately, we don't let people borrow controllers, which is fair. Like, I'm a random guy just saying, yo, let me play your controllers, right? It's a bit,
yeah.
I'd say no to that person as well. So I just went Red Bull instead. And because they had PCs, so I'm like, oh, I can just play on a PC, right? That's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I went to Red Bull. I saw Gossain. I met Haroon.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very old school. It was not really old school, but he's like a Tekken Tag 2 Horang and Ana player.
Yep.
He was probably one of the best in London at some point because he's won a lot of like dojos in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I met Dinosaur. I met Chicken Maru 20, and that's what
Chicken Maru.
Yeah. So Chicken Maru, I just asked him. I don't know who he was, so I'm just like, can I play you?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, sure. And I think as he's playing me, he's realized, oh, this guy's new. So he just asked me, do you know about the back one, like flicker cancel? I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, if you hold back off the back one, you can get into flicker. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? And it didn't make sense to me because I was really bad at this time, right? I couldn't do a combo. I didn't understand frames. I didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
So for like 5 minutes, he was trying to explain it to me, and I was just too dumbfounded. I just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, let's just play. And we just played. But yeah, and then he showed me like a combo with Steve. He's like, I want you to like just learn it. It was like counter hit back one, and it was like flicker 1-1-1, and then I think like Sonic Fang or something. It was like such a simple combo. But yeah, that was like, again, that was like my starting in my humble beginnings. Well, other players like Dinosaur. I didn't really know anyone who was there. The only person I knew was what's his name? I only knew Gossain pretty decently because I'd like spoken to him a bit. And I remember I wanted to Dinosaur. I'm like, oh, can I play you? Right? So yeah, sure, let's play. And I played him, and I will never forget. I lost like 20-0.
Yeah,
and he just kept on playing me. It was really nice. I just lost 20-0, and that was like the first time I learned about defense.
Yes.
That's when I learned about like how much of a wall you can play in Tekken, and it really I think it really changed how I think about Tekken. Even to this day, like that was some trauma experience. I'm like, oh shit, you can just be a defensive like king and just win.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I kind of started in the offline. Obviously there's more to it. So I think it's a bit weird. Like how I got to know everyone, because that was really there's only like one or two offlines I went to, and then COVID happened.
Yes.
So obviously like that's where like the real training arc began.
Yeah.
That's where I like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and combos. But yeah, so after COVID, I did speak to a lot of people just on Twitch chat and shit. I used to like go in Spike's chat a lot, still do when I can. So I became good friends with him. But there was an offline spag done in Red Bull Gaming Sphere. It was called No Bars.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the first offline. It's the one Ducky won, which was really weird because everyone thought Ducky was an online player, but lo and behold, he's actually maybe one of the best like UK players at the end of 7.
Good,
like I'm not. No, he's weirdly good. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, so I went to offline and I was wearing a mask. Okay, and I had a little bit of long hair. And I'm sure you know who Bobsy is. Like people in the chat probably know who Bobsy is. Okay, so he's a common. Yeah, he's old school. Used to work in Namco. He's a goat in his own aspects. Not lovely guy. So like Bobsy, like I'm just walking around and Bobsy just said, "What are you saying, big man?" And I'm like, "Oh, does this guy know me? Like, does Bobsy know me?" He's like, "I see you've been doing bits online in ICFC and stuff." And I'm like, "What? What does he mean by that?" Right? And I think he kept on speaking to me. He's like, I see you beat this person. I'm like, I swear Joka beat this person.
Yeah.
Why does he keep on? why does he keep on mentioning Joka? I'm like,
This
oh
is
shit.
a guy like.
That's so
Yeah,
funny,
yeah.
man.
So he keeps on mentioning Joker's win, and he hugged me as well. He's like, "I'm so proud of you. I remember you messaged me first." Da 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 da.
Oh
This
my
happened for 5 minutes,
God.
mind you, and I'm too embarrassed because it's like my third offline, and I've not really spoken to anyone since like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I just took down my mask. I'm like, I'm not Joker. I'm Chop. And he's like, oh, yeah. That's where
Oh,
I
no.
feel like the Chop Joker meme began. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's true. We do look alike, and if anything, this is probably what made us friends. It's like we're just like, oh shit, we actually do look alike. And mind you, like Joker's up from a part of Pakistan that is completely distinct from my part. Like
Yeah, gotcha.
he's like all the way like closer to like Mirpur, and I'm like closer to Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't look alike, but lo and behold, we just
Lo and
the
behold.
stereotypes do. Yeah, stereotypes are true, I guess. So we just turned out to look alike, and in that event, I promise you, I think like 5 people were like, "Oh, Joko, what are you saying, and how are you?" But even to this day, like I people still think I am Joker or I am another like British Pakistani player. So when we went to Sweden for I forgot it's called DreamHack. That's it. We went DreamHack, and it was me, Gosain, Spag, Joker, Blackbeard, and Asim, and a few others. Right, we all went together, and we went to a restaurant. Okay, and it was like I think it was a Turkish restaurant or whatever, and we were just having like some food. And this like Pakistani guy was just like I guess he's getting his food or whatever, and he went up to Spag and he's like, "Oh, Spag, how are you and stuff? How you been, brother?" Spag's like, "I'm good, alhamdulillah." So he then came up to me, he's like, "Salam, Joker, how did you win in Pakistan?" Like I was so crazy, and I'm just gonna run with them. Like, yeah, man, just hard work and determination. That's all I did. So I've just gotten used to becoming a Joker when I go offline. So I'm just kind of like his double, I'm his representative when I go offline and stuff.
There you go. Got a stunt
even
double.
yeah. So even in that event, I was speaking to Nee, for a bit, because I'm friends with him. Because why am I even friends with Nee? I don't even know. Oh, it's for DRX. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because golden letters and whatnot. Yeah. And I was talking to Nee. I was like, "How you been and stuff?" Because when I went to Korea, I don't know if you know this, but Nee like celebrated my birthday. It was so sick.
That's dope.
Like he threw me he threw me like a surprise birthday party. It's in his YouTube channel. You can check it out. It's still there, which is so mad to me. It was a very nice cake. So I was like, "How you been? How you finding the game?" Blah blah blah. And then some guy came up to me and Nee. He's like, "Oh, Nee, man, like how are you and stuff? Why aren't you playing Feng?" And the guy came up to me. He's like, "Joker, how do I play Feng in this game, right?" And Nee just like he's confused. He's like, "What?" He's like looking at me. I'm like, yeah. So the way you play Feng is like,
Just go with it. Just go with it.
Yeah, he started laughing. He just walked off. I think Nee just clocked like what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's how I honestly became friends with Joker, and like the rest is just like, I just look like him. Like, let's fuck about with it.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, that's kind of like a small intro. There's way more, but yeah.
Oh, that's
don't want to
banger,
keep it
man.
too long.
It's funny hearing some of the parallels for me because I also joined season 3, season 4 kind of era.
Yeah.
And immediately got super invested in the scene. I wanted to ask you, was the scene popping off prior to COVID?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was same in Australia.
Really, really popping up. I think people at Pun Life can explain to you, like, even there was like, I guess maybe 2 or 3 locals in London, and each of them would get like huge amount of numbers. Like WSOs, that was Logan's tournament, but Spag and Bubsy kind of like spearheaded it. It would get like 100 plus, like easy.
That's
same as a double KO.
Yeah,
but Elf would also get pretty decent numbers. Like,
yeah, we spoke about Elf at Pun Life.
Yeah, I think like pre-COVID, like there was a really organic scene that was developing. In hindsight, I didn't know because I was new.
Yeah.
But now I look back, I'm like, yo, there was like really huge potential. What could have happened at the end?
It was exactly the same in Australia because Australia is very spread out. We've got a 20 million person population, but we're spread across a massive continent. Even then, in my local state of Victoria, and Hangman can attest to it, we had offlines pretty much every weekday. There was always something going on, always somewhere to go. And we got hardline into the game. going to absolutely everything. I was going to
people were
everything.
coming out as well.
Yeah.
People were coming out as well.
Because you would have the
Um,
same issue where it's like, I think this is universal for any offline scene. You've always got the old heads who don't really show up to stuff as much because maybe they don't like the current game or they don't like the current patch or whatever. Towards the end of season 3 and then through season 4, just prior to COVID, everyone was coming out. There was enough buzz, enough hype. People were talking to each other outside of events, bringing, old mate across who hasn't been to an event in like 4 years and he's just wiping the floor with everyone. It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a very privileged time to play Tekken. That's when I sort of came out. I didn't appreciate it when it was going on.
Yeah. COVID really turned things around real quick. But you guys in EU, I think ICFC was a pretty big deal considering the online state of Tekken, the netcode. ICFC, I tuned in for all of them, like EU, NA, Asia region.
ICFC was interesting. I played it every time I played in ICFC. I swear to God, I just match up against Mardux and Katarinas and Fangs.
Yeah.
Or people would just like switch to those characters against me because I played Steve.
Yep.
So I had a very different experience compared to others. But yeah, ICFC was probably the healthiest thing we had online because it did make everyone grind. Because I remember like speaking to Joka and Gosane and these guys, Kabus, they were like, we had to get an ICFC win.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like to prove yourself because there was really nothing you could have done, right? And most of us play this game to prove who's the best. So ICFC was a really good metric, I think. And a lot of like EU's like I guess new gen and end of Tekken 7 came from ICFC. HK Junior is probably the biggest. the biggest project that came out of that. Honestly, and Joka as well. Like Joka didn't remember. Like I think people forget Joka's still like a really recent player. He's only been like active for 3 years offline.
Yeah.
And he's done like incredible things like qualifying for Tekken World Tour like I think 3 times in a row now.
Winning bars.
Winning bar. The only non-Pakistani to win in Pakistan to this day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be achieved again. That's going to require some crazy
tall order.
Yeah, it's a very tall order. He's won 2 master events. So he's like a product of ICFC as well. This is Chicken Mario 20 as well. Like, there's just so many people that won ICFC, and again, they played really well offline as well. And it helped them for sure.
Yeah.
So ICFC losing that has been a bit of an L. Because they are like I guess equivalents. Like there's EU Dojo. There's still like Salty EU, I believe, that's done by Isk and others. But it's hard. ICFC had that aura, man. It did have a bit of an aura. They're like, oh, who am I gonna match up with ICFC? As many problems as I had, because obviously Europe is a big place with a lot of different connections and countries and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the ICFC played a very important role to again keep the scene active and stuff. I'm not sure what's gonna replace that.
Yeah.
Like people will make tweets saying, do you want to see an ICFC replacement eye emoji? And it's like a content creator, and you're just like, yeah, nothing's gonna happen of this.
Yeah.
And nothing's gonna come of this. Because I think as an organizer, and again, I was a player first, then I became an organizer, and I began to understand the struggles.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get into that quite soon.
Well,
but
that's what we want to get onto next. Because I was curious to know, like you're saying, it's not going to happen. I remember thinking, as someone who'd never been involved in events and stuff, who was fresh to the scene, watching ICFC, thinking to myself, how do we have this? This is a lot of work. Yeah. It's every week. It's constant. There's always new promotions. They're doing every thumbnail and description feed on their YouTube videos for 3 different regions. Like, we were pretty damn blessed. As much as Tekken 7 was 200% an offline experience, and COVID was the worst possible thing that could happen to a game like that, with both 1, that style of gameplay, and 2, that kind of netcode, ICFC was like a boon. It was like, how is anyone caring enough to run this throughout most of COVID? Yeah,
so maybe a quick lesson. I mean, maybe but ICFC was run by Tenno Media.
Yes.
So for those who don't know who Tenno Media is, it's a it's a production company, to say the very least. They do a lot of the tour stuff. They used to do a lot of the tour stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about this year. But they do a lot of other FGCs. So they do stuff like Guilty Gear. They do stuff for like, a lot of the Arc games, and then the stuff for the SNK games, etc. So it was a very, they done it maybe to make some profit, but they paid a lot of the people, so that's why I give credit to Tender Media. Like Pun Life, he's in the chat. He got the ICF's money, ICFC money a bit. He's a little rich. Not all TOs and commentators are broke, like me. But yeah, ICFC. The problem is it costs a lot of money because they would like. My understanding, they paid the TOs, they paid the commentators a lot, and to do it every week and with the prize pot,
Yeah.
shit
Big
adds up,
investment.
man. Like, and I think the biggest thing was to like sell shirts and stuff. But again, it's like how much licensing can you get, and then that's gonna create a profit margin and stuff. I think they were gonna cancel ICFC. I think like at season 2, like in 2022 or something, or 2021. I forgot which year it was. But yeah, it was really astounding how long it lasted for, especially at the end of 7.
Yeah.
And they did really something cool in the finals. I don't know if people remember. They flew out Richie, they flew out Shadow, and then they flew out one more player. I forgot. Do you remember it was like 3-man finals?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot who the third player is. Someone can correct me. But yeah, it was cool. It was interesting. It was smaller. It was different. Everyone had like a say. Everyone was talking to each other. Ao. Ah, yes, it was Ao from Japan. Playing Kunimitsu. Yeah, so that was a really cool event that they done. And it was very unique. So yeah, shout out to ICFC. I don't know if we'll get another one. I hope we do. I hope we get an equivalent, something better, perhaps. But again, getting back to what I was saying originally, it's hard to do these events because it costs money, time, and resources. Like to even gather the TOs to like mark your scores, make sure people are there on time, chasing people, doing connection tests. That can really eat up to your time. And ICC used to kind of run a little bit long because it's on Wednesday, like 6 p.m. UK time. So yeah, it's a shame, but who knows what the future holds.
Who knows what the future holds? Yeah, it's definitely definitely difficult to organize and run stuff. You mentioned that you were a player first, and then you got more into actually helping out at events and then eventually running them. I know that you also do a lot of commentary work. You're on the comms for your tournament, which we're going to talk about a little later. I'm super excited to talk about that. How did you actually start running events? Do you remember like the first one that you had full control over, where you're sorting all the advertising and you're sorting all this and that?
Okay, so I'll say this. Obviously, I work with Red Bull very closely on stuff, not just like Tekken. I work with them in Valorant, League. Actually, we done Apex time ago. Dota sometimes. Any mainstream game, Call of Duty, etc., Minecraft now, it's really weird. I work with Red Bull in some capacity. If that's, for example, managing, if that's, for example, like helping out, giving creative ideas, I help them in a consultancy basis. So I have a very good relationship with Red Bull in the UK. So I'll actually explain to you how I got that job. So as you mentioned, I was a commentator and I wanted to become a commentator. So I done some Elf commentary, and shouts to Elf. I really want to give credit to Elf, not just because like I want to sound like a good PR guy, but I don't think people understand. Elf was like the first place I got to practice my comms. Before that, I would practice on this server that was called Muslim Gamers because I'm a Muslim, right? Yeah. So I joined. Let me tell you the story. That's even more funny because I met a lot of my friends in Tekken that aren't related to me in any way. So there's a server called Muslim Gamers. Maybe someone in this chat might have joined it. I might have asked them to join it. Maybe placeholder. I don't know. But there was a me and my friends were so bored. We just go in like Christian or whatever Discord servers and say Assalamu alaikum and get banned. So we just thought it was funny. Found a Muslim Gamers one. Yeah. We get insta banned. And
that's
like
so funny.
It was weird. Anyways, that's beside the point. I was bored, bro, during COVID.
I respect it, man.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a troll. People don't maybe know that. I keep that to myself. But anyways, went to the Muslim server. We're like, yo, what's up, guys? One of my friends like, Christ is king and shit like that. They're like, oh, cool, you guys
gotta do it.
Yeah, and then my friend was like, oh, you like Christians? We're like, no, we're actually Muslims. They're like, oh, cool. Like, why are you here? And they were like nice to us. We're like, oh shit, man, they're nice to us. Like, let's chill a bit here, man. And that was it. And I was really into Tekken back then, and I found another guy. His name is Mocha Unicorn. He's an NA player. He's actually pretty good now. Shouts to Mocha. Anyways, I was like to him, "Oh, do you play Tekken?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then he was green rank, and I was slightly better than him, and we played like 3-bar NA versus EU, and surprisingly, it was like playable. So this is Tekken 7, like season 3, and I don't know how, but we just played. Anyways, from that, like, I just started like doing events for these guys. Like, we'd get like maybe 20 people online from like
sweet,
America, and I'd host my events from there. Like, that was genuinely the first time I would just, and it was just for fun, and it was hard though because I didn't know what I was doing. And I do comms as well.
Yeah.
And I would always, and you know, someone that always used to reply to me was Spag. Even when I didn't know him well, I would just ask him, I'm like, how do I do comms? And he told me the most important rule of comms is like, if you're doing comms with someone, make sure to never speak over them. And if you don't know what to say, just ask them a question. And that's the rule I still go with. I just ask them random questions. What do you think about this matchup? What do you think about this scenario? What do you think about this map? What do you think about da? It's pretty easy. Like, just have a conversation sometimes. If you don't know, if you can't do good play-by-play, like I can't. Anyways, so that happened, and then that's when I started getting into comms. I done like some comms for Elf, and again with Elf, they let anyone do comms if you asked. And again, they didn't really know me, so I had a bunch of comm shifts with Elf, and that really helped build my character. For commentary, I was still a player back then, but I really wanted to like try comms more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially in 2022, it was like my final year of uni. I think that's when Evo was back. So Evo Vegas was back, and all my friends were in Evo. So Spag was at Evo, right? And Red Bull Gaming Sphere was opening up again for the public, but they needed to shoot an ad. So basically Spag messaged me. He's like, "Hey, do you wanna like go do a shoot for them for Red Bull?" I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Do I get paid?" He's like, "No, you don't get paid, but just make most of your time there." I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." So I just went early because my friend was late. So I was like, "I'm just gonna go early and just chill there and see what happens." I go early and I meet the guy that was basically kind of heading it. His name was Omid. Okay, Mead. He's a melee player.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I just started speaking to him, and I'm like, "Oh, it's like, what games do you play?" He's like, "Oh, do you know Melee?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Melee. I watched that Smash documentary." And then we started
the Smash Bros.
just talking about, we talked so much about Melee. And the more I spoke to him, like, this guy is really into Melee. He knows the scene well. Like, he's like, "Yeah, you know, this person's like that." I'm like, "That's crazy." And then, you know, this person's really good in the UK, So I asked him, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I actually work with Red Bull Gaming." I was like, "Oh shit, okay, cool, safe." And like at the end of our conversation, I was like, "Look, man, I'm graduating from uni in like 2 weeks. Can I get like a job here or something?" And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Oh, what? That's it? No interview, nothing?" He's like, "Yeah, add me on Discord and message me." And I just thought that's a joke.
Yeah.
Because like it's the most informal way to get a job.
Add me on Discord.
Yeah, add me on Discord and message me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's gonna go nowhere. And then like lo and behold, I got a job and I started working with the Sphere on
sweet,
events
man.
and stuff. That's genuine. It was just, and you know, if Spag didn't say, you know, "Do you want to do it?" He could ask anyone else, but he asked me.
Yeah.
Because he knew how much I wanted to do comms and stuff. One thing led to another, and I started working with them. So when I was working with them, I got really involved in like London Melee. So I know a lot of the London Melee guys. They're really good friends. They work in Red Bull or they work within Red Bull like how I do. So I'd watch a lot of their events and I'd work and help their TO. So that's how I started like a little bit of organizing. That's like where, you know, I'm like, "Oh, we could do this."
Yeah.
For Tekken for Tekken 8 or Tekken 7. So there was a few WSOs that happened at the Sphere, and it was for Tekken 7. Obviously not that many people would come down, for whatever reasons. But essentially what happened was Tekken 8 was coming out, obviously. And Red Bull had a series, it was called Double KO. And it was originally meant to be Street Fighter and Tekken. But Umid basically asked me, like, "Do you want to head it? This is a Red Bull event." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll head it fine." And then I didn't realize like the monumental task I had. I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta do tournaments now." So this is how it really started. Yeah, so it was kind of difficult at first because well, it wasn't and it was. I think it wasn't because obviously Tekken 8 was coming out and people wanted something to replace Elf. You know, because Elf, again, like I can't emphasize how fun it had problems like my event has problems, and Elf had problems, but it was nice just to see everyone there, just to talk and hang out and stuff like that. So I think people wanted that. There's a lot of new players as well from coming into Tekken 8. A lot of new communities that joined in and blah blah blah. So yeah, it wasn't that hard. I feel like getting people, but I do feel like what was the hardest part for me was probably production and I guess like creating a brand and a logo.
Yeah.
So I don't think like if you don't stream, I don't think you realize like how hard production can be. Like I'm just gonna keep saying Pun Life would understand because he's in this call, and I'm sure Brandman and other people that are in this stream would understand. Like there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of like thinking, there's a lot of mistakes that can happen. If the audio is a little bit messed up, you're gonna get like 10 people complaining on Twitch chat, which happens, right?
Yeah.
If you got the wrong name, people are gonna like shit on you, even if you know it's even if you know them, it's like you made a mistake, so people don't forget that stuff. So yeah, I think production was maybe the hardest thing, and I really want people to know that production and advertising can be quite difficult. Like I'm not the biggest like social media page. I want to got a couple hundred followers. So even like reaching out to like UK and the broader scene was hard. So I legit like would DM a lot of London players and UK players, and I'm sorry guys that are in the chat. Like I am annoying. I'm like, hey, do you guys know about this event that's happening? Yeah, I have to be because I feel like they want to come but they don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Real.
So you have to use all kinds of different marketing. If it's social media, if it's just outreaching, word of mouth, like putting a video on Twitch or a advertising on someone's Twitch channel, etc. Like these shouts go a long way. It all works together, to get a successful event. And then in terms of like the TOing side, so like bracket running and stuff. Again, my knowledge was quite limited because I did do a few melee events, but I had an understanding of what to do. But again, the people that work on my events, the TOs, they're all melee players. Like, and I feel like we can learn so much from melee because they've been here probably the longest in terms of community. They've been here for like 20 plus years without any developer support. So the systems they've created are actually so insane.
Yeah.
For like how a tournament can be run. Like I ran an amateur bracket, and I think maybe in the last 2 double KOs or the last double KO, and everybody loved it. And they're like, "This is such an innovative idea." I'm like, "This is a melee idea. This is something they've been doing for time because they understand like if you do a double limb, like who's gonna play afterwards? What you're gonna do, right? We can't do round robin because it's not part of the Tekken World Tour rules. But what we can do is the people that went 0-2, 2-2, they can still play against each other. They can have fun. So a lot of the ideas that I take and steal is from melee in one aspect or another.
Even just talking from my personal experience, because I got into esports through watching melee stuff. So I watched the Smash Bros documentary. I played melee when I was a kid and then never really thought about it much, and then saw that and it was like, oh shit, people are schmoovin' in this game. And one thing that's always really stood out over the years was the quality of their events. Like even online tournaments, they do invitationals. They had this invitational series in the US where they would get a bunch of the top players worldwide, a few who were voted in, so a few that were outside of, say, the top 5 to 10 could get voted in. And then, Smash Summit. And then they'd all go and stay in this house for a few days, and they'd play the craziest tournament formats, and they'd also have weird side events and this and that. And in terms of like Melee's innovations in running events, having stuff like lower brackets or amateur brackets, having stuff like PR systems where they'll rank an entire region, they've been ahead of the curve for a long time.
They've been ahead of the curve because I feel like they've had a lot of character building fighting a multi-billion-dollar company in Nintendo. Yep. So like honestly, we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? And I think Melee for FGC it should be like the case example of what we can do, right? And someone in your chat skips Aaron. That guy is my TO. That guy is my driller. That guy is my shooter. I trust that man with my life. Yeah. The amount of like helping he's done for the events I've done, like the past 6 events, like it's insane. If it wasn't for someone like him and stuff like that, And I've learned so much from this guy, and the patience from this guy is honestly incredible. Like, shout out to Skips, bro. That's my bro right there. If
Shout
he ever
out
needs
Skips.
anything, I got him, man. Shout out to
Yeah,
Skips, man. But
yeah.
yeah, like you said, the stuff Melee does is so incredible, and there's no money in Melee really. Like, they just do it for the passion, they just do it for the love, they do it for the competition, they do it for the drive. I feel like Tekken kind of needs that as well, because money's gonna not be there forever. Like,
Yeah.
capitalism moves money from one place to another. Like, even I feel like Tekken like supposedly dies, that people want it to die. Like, I feel like that right now, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I do feel like that competition, I hope it's still there, and I feel like it will always be there, but yeah, double KO has probably been, and I think the biggest thing with a double KO is like the brand changing. So the original logo like sucked ass.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And I have a friend, he's actually from Australia, believe it or not. He's a Melee player. His name is Bams. Not the
go.
tournament, but do you know the event called Phantom in
Phantom, yeah.
Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
runs
the
it,
one in New
actually.
South Wales. The one in New South Wales.
Yeah. That's my friend's Bam's event, actually.
There you
He
go.
creates all the logos. Yeah. I think I should network you guys.
Yeah, that'll be sweet, man.
You guys should talk. Yeah. I feel like you guys will meld together well. But yeah, so Bams, he started getting into Tekken, and I just met him in a random event, and we just like kicked it off. We had like so many ideas. I learned a lot from him, and he kind of created like, I guess, that modern logo of the double KO look and the aesthetic. So yeah, like it's really cool what's become of this event, how we evolved it, how we've changed it, and it's like small little things. So like I remember I would say I'm a player first, and I think like a player, which I don't think is always good, because I need to start thinking about like an organizer. Maybe we'll get back to that on Crew Cup. But what was I gonna say? Like, in events, when I went to an event, I always get hungry, and like I've got to buy food. So I just buy snacks for everyone, man. Like simple, small things like that. Snacks, amateur brackets, more casuals. Obviously, you can't facilitate a lot of those stuff, but trying to do those kind of stuff, it goes a long way. Also, like, if you want a double KO, I made it so that I like Pokemon, right? And I like Pokemon cards. So I made it so that if anyone won a double KO, we'd have a way to commemorate them, like kind of like, imprint them in the lore of double KO. So they would get a special like card, like similar to a Pokemon card. So I can show you an example. So like CBM came to our event, actually.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. And we created this card for him, this artwork for him, to
Got
commemorate.
this one up on the stream.
Yeah.
That looks dope. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. That's kind of like the things we've created. And I've created other cards. I made a Tetsu one, but I haven't released it yet. I will release that soon. But I can show you some of the other, like, artwork that's been made in a sec. Oh, man, where did I post it? Oh, yes. I think it's here. Yeah, so I made some for Joka, I made one for Hussein, I made for Kenyan Trench as well. So, again, like, the whole idea is that when you win our events, you're like imprinting the law. There's a way to commemorate you, and it's all free. It's all there. I just give it out. I think for the next double kill, I got to print like 4 more cards. So yeah,
That is sweet, man. That is
That was
Yeah.
pretty nice. That looks like
Oh, the Goseng
Yeah.
card's so sick.
yeah. The Gosei one, there was a little bit of thought into that one. So like, for example, the writing, like I've made some for like, let's make it a little bit more like French or fancy
Yeah,
and posh
true.
and stuff. Yeah, so again, there's a lot of thought that goes into these kind of stuff. And bro, this isn't like a foreign concept. This is something that other events have done. I just see it. I'm like, why don't we do something similar?
It
So,
keeps
yeah,
people interested. It keeps people following along.
No,
'cause
absolutely.
It's more
Yeah.
than just the matches that are going on. And this is something that I wanted to ask before we transition into Nations Cup, which happened recently. Because we've been on the topic of like, what are things you can do to keep your tournaments more engaging? It's not just having a bracket and having good players. It's also all of this. It's the artwork, it's the socializing, and it's also these unique formats that we take when we approach events. What would be some things that you would want to see in the future in terms of how an event is run? Like if there was like a way that you could run like an ideal Red Bull event and you've got full control, full reins, And it can be something completely different. Doesn't necessarily have to be
Yeah.
a TWT centric, hyper competitive tournament. What would you want to see?
What I would want to see is, I think team events we decided to like accept that they're a really good format.
They are.
Regardless, if it's like Korea versus Pakistan, I think was really hyped to see at the end of the year. If it's any versus EU, that hopefully might happen. If
Yeah.
it's like Nation Cups that we just mentioned, um, if it was like I had a lot of budget, maybe I'd do something like a summer house. Sorry, a summit.
Yeah, that'd be
Where we
sweet,
just
man.
invite everyone, just vibes, talk to the players, get to know them a little bit more. Because I've met the Koreans a few times, and I'm sure Brownman knows this. Like, you actually speak to them, they're actually really funny. They're
Yeah.
actually really cool just to talk to. Like Ulsan he's a character. Like
Yeah.
every time I've interacted with him, it's really it's just really funny and like cool. So it'd be cool just like if, we had a bunch of people just sitting down and just chatting shit. Just like a casual thing where it's like, I don't know, Arsen, Ulsan
Yeah.
watching someone play and they're just like chatting shit. And we just use like some, we do some different like videos and content. Just make it fun and enjoyable. Like it can be serious obviously at the end, but
Yeah.
maybe that build up needs to be like a little bit fun and interesting, we don't need to be like, I feel like Tekken World Tour, EWC, and like whatever other invitational there is, it kind of fulfills the need for a, how do I say this, like a serious competition.
Yeah.
Now we got like Korea versus Pakistan. That's become a very big like
Story.
event for our scene. Yeah, storyline, and it's definitely going to continue into like who knows how long, right? What we need is something a little bit more chill and casual because I feel like the Tekken World Tour is such an intense like couple of months.
Yeah.
Where it's consistently, I gotta win points, I gotta win this challenge, I gotta win this Masters, and now there's the added stress of like qualifying for EWC, right?
Yeah.
If I don't qualify for EWC for Saudi, I might lose my sponsorship, I might lose my livelihood.
Yep.
Because of a bad patch, because of a thing. So I think we need to like have a little bit more relaxed, chilled, enjoyable, people, and more personalities. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the personalities we have with some players is a bit weird. Like, I think with Kakoma, like, if you actually listen to his opinions, they're actually pretty interesting and pretty funny. But
Yeah.
I think people just say, "Oh, he's the cross-dresser. He does this, does that, etc."
Sniffing herbs.
He's actually, sniffing herbs and stuff. But like, that's a personality that you could probably explore if you gave him like 2 hours on a mic,
Or
you do like a
what was
video
really
stuff
cool,
like that.
really cool with Summit. Summit wasn't, as you're
Yeah.
mentioning, right? This is like it's like a non-canonical tournament series, but it felt
Yeah.
like it drummed up even more hype than a lot of majors did because
Exactly.
not only was it a desirable tournament for the players, I can imagine if you're someone like Arsen Ash or Nee or something, how much of their time is spent on planes, going between airports, checking in to hotels, doing this and that. Having a tournament that players actively wanted to make the effort to travel to just for a chill time over a few days is very different to tournaments where you have to sign up, you have to be there on time, need to get there early, everything's on the line. And yet it felt like you still got some of the best melee that would come out of those tournaments because the players literally can play with each other off stream nonstop for the entire weekend. And then they're running these longer set brackets as well. There's a lot of first to threes and then first to fives for grand finals. And you got to see the absolute best of these players in an environment as close to locals. Because before we spoke on the stream, for those in the chat, we had a quick chat with Chop just before getting set up. And we were talking on Strog, who we're going to talk about a little bit in a second. And Chop mentioned that he's kind of like a casuals monster. Like no one can take games off of him. Like he wins every long set. And then you get onto the big stage, and sometimes it's a mix of everything. You've got limited time. Maybe it's cold up on the stage. Maybe you're tired and jet lagged. Like there's a million variables going into it. Pretty much all of those are weeded out by the time you get to the end of an invitational like Smash Summit. If we had something like that for Tekken, that would honestly be phenomenal. That would be crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like to what you said, like regarding like Summit, I remember like when I used to watch Melee a bit, like if you win a Summit, you're like kind of your legacy's there. It was
Yeah.
again, it was an event that was kind of like treated as fun, but because it was such a good event, everyone took it seriously at the end. Like, I think that blend is so hard to make, but that's what Summit and that's what I feel like Tekken needs. It needs a place where, like, for a week or two or whatever, everyone just comes, they have fun, they do fun stuff, they do cool stuff, they enjoy, they love, blah blah blah, right? Live, all that bullshit is right on Facebook. And they just, have a good time, man. Just enjoy yourself. The people get the content they want, they get the matches they want, they get the setups they want. Because, like, you can build Korea versus Pakistan forever, but it's just gonna be Korea versus Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
Why not, like, I don't know, have Joka and, let's say, I don't know, Rife on a mic just chatting shit about each other's mains because they just keep on downplaying Fengal, Jin,
That was the other
How funny
thing.
would that be?
Like, their commentary setup for Summit, for those who don't know, is literally just like a big couch and then two smaller couches and like 6 dudes on the mic. And they're all players.
Yeah.
Or like there's like 2 commentators and like a bunch of players. And like we've got the scene for it internationally. If you look at the top talent from every region, how exciting something like that could be. You could have Kane and Trench, Joka. You could have dudes like Yagami from Australia who showed up at EWC. You could have players from Ivory Coast. You could have players like XCC from China. The way that you could set it up, having all of these different personalities from different regions with enough time to learn every player. This was one exciting thing about EWC. Everyone got to play everyone, right? And I think that's why Summit, if you won a Summit, it was such a big deal. You had to play everyone to get to grand finals. They're round robin formats. Everyone's playing against everyone multiple times each. Longer set counts as well. It would absolutely be sick. Get Dion on the mic, Brown Man. You know what's true. Can you imagine Dion at a Tekken Tekken Summit?
Yeah, but again, like, I don't think people realize like how much of a globalized scene we are. Like, even compared to like Street Fighter and other games, like they're still like mostly focused on Japan, America, now South America and Europe. I'm not sure how big the other scenes are, but like we're a very rare exception where, you could have some guy from Korea and then you'll have some guy from Russia and then you'll have a Pakistani, which is still pretty incredible to me, or a Middle East player that could all potentially like make a grand finals and win. That globalization and that clash of like cultures is it's so fascinating. You can have so much personalities and it's just fun, man. Enjoy the game, enjoy what you love. That's what I say.
Absolutely. And on enjoying the game, this was something that I was eagerly anticipating. I'm going to pop it up on the stream for those who are watching. We've got Nations Cup, which just happened. So Nations Cup, it's kind of like a perfect accumulation of everything we've been talking about because it was a team format tournament. We had 4 teams in attendance. Here's the Liquipedia page. We had South Korea, Pakistan, Europe, and the Middle East. In terms of team composition, Pakistan sent out Arsanash, Atif, and William. He's going to be an exciting one to talk about. Team Korea had Ni, Morgold, Lohai. Team Europe, Tetsu, Dombilly, my man, and Strog the Goat. And the Middle East, we had Rife, JJ, and Renzo Ken. This was super exciting because for a number of reasons, and it was a little bit bittersweet because I think a lot of people are coming off of the Season 2 patch being such a mess. This was going to be kind of a test run to the EVO Japan test run, insofar as how's the game going to look? Are we going to have every player, every team running Lars? Are we going to have these constant plus frame situations, constant brain dead, air quotes, offensive, aggressive gameplay? What ended up happening, I think, was a really entertaining event. There are obviously some things that were clearly too strong, but all in all, Lars didn't win the event. Team Korea, as you can see pictured, they won the event. No thanks to Morgold, who was MVP of the whole event, killing absolutely everyone. I don't know, Chop, just in, I guess, right on the face of it, what did you think about this event?
Okay, so I'll be real. I didn't get to watch most of it because my event was happening at the same time. Which is a big clash.
We'll get to that.
But I did see the finals. I was very surprised by like Mogul's performance, and I really liked the post-match interviews. Like Spag was trying to like start it with the Europeans, but like Strog, like with Tetsu, and Tetsu's like, it wouldn't be, if they're here, it wouldn't be fun. It'd be too free. And then Dombly was like, he's too nervous, so he didn't say anything. And then Strog is like, I think we should have a good competitive game. You know, I just like playing the game. Let's do so. Like, it was so funny, like the post-fight interviews. And then I saw the Korea interview, and Nee was like, I was just cheering for Moko. That's all I need, bro.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's all you said. Yeah, yeah. And you know, this was kind of out of nowhere, to be quite frank. Like I didn't know about it. I don't think a lot of people knew about it. There wasn't that much marketing for this. Was like
Yeah.
a few days, and they're just like, yeah, we're sending like 4 countries. I'm like, what?
Yeah, just
Like,
out of the blue.
what's going on? So yeah, this is cool though, because maybe this can come like a World Cup. I really want a Tekken World Cup because, like I said, we're such an international game. It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
you could have a Madagascar team, you could get an Ivory Coast team, you can get like a UAE team, you can get an
South
Australian team,
America.
you can
There's
get a
so
New
many
Zealand,
regions in South America.
New Zealand,
New Zealand.
America, Canada. Probably like how many European teams could you get? Pakistan, Korea, blah blah blah. Like the potential is like legit infinite for this game. So yeah, this is a really cool event. I saw Dombly was pretty close to beating, like, I think it was a Korea on the second day or something. I'm not sure.
Put in the work. He was doing fantastic.
Yeah, Dombly's he's an interesting one. So I don't know if a lot of people know in this chat like his history, but you know, Dombly, his like kind of his start was like he used to play a lot online, and people used to think he's an online player, an online Marduk.
Yeah.
But I remember Joka telling me, like, no, this guy's actually good. Like, and Chikamaru, who played Marduk, told me, like, no, I think he's actually really good. He doesn't come offline and see, right? So it was UFA 2022 or 2023. I'm not sure which one it was. Regardless, like, he came, and I think he came third in that event.
Yeah.
And that was the same event he beat Ulsan in Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Which,
I think that
a
was
lot of
on
people don't know
Kinder
this.
Gym.
Yes, it was Kinder Gym. And a lot of people don't know this. Dombly was 17 back then. He was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? So this is like kind of the start and the legend of Dombly, Dombly my man, like his rise to fame. So I think a lot of us think like he does struggle a little bit offline. Like he just needs more experience. We've been saying this for time. The more he travels, the better he gets.
Yeah, well,
like for example in Abu Dhabi, yeah, look how much he's improved. Again, it's insane.
I wanted to speak to his like online air quotes sort of mythos, because something I always point to whenever I talk about top EU players, I always bring up two players, and it's Strog and Dombilly. And I'll tell whoever it is I'm talking to, go onto any ELO site like Wavy Wank or whatever, and click Europe, click on Dombilly or Strog, and then just go and see who they're losing to. And you'll have to scroll. You'll have to fucking scroll, because you'll see maybe one top player at the top and then like another player somewhere halfway down the list, and then everyone else they're positive on. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Dombilly's the only Marduk that I've ever found interesting to watch. I fucking hate that character unabashedly because I play Steve. And
yes,
Dombilly's Marduk in T7 was just a thing of beauty to watch. Dude didn't necessarily play crazy. He did just the right amount of Marduk bullshit mixed in with just kicking your ass with pokes over and over and over again. He's legit, man. He's legit. I'd love to see him travel more.
Yeah, no, like 100%. Like, Dombly, he's really rare. He's really exceptional. Like, again, he's from the ICFC training era. Him, HK, the Germans, you know, the young German prodigies, as we like to call them. What we like to say, the German factory, you know, they build the deep BMWs, the Mercedes, and now they're building like Tekken talent.
Dombilly.
Yeah. Well, Pika's from Belgium. But
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Madara. Yeah. Same shit. Don't worry, man.
Momo Dog as well, I think.
Momodog, Madara, HK, Starbreaker, Ranger,
Starbreaker, he's sick.
Nino. Yeah,
Nino.
all these guys are legit just kids.
Yeah.
Like, they're still pretty young. They're like in their early 20s now, probably. But again, they came from the German factory. And again, it's a testament to people like Tetsu. Well, Tetsu's quite young. He's younger than me, I think, or the same age. So Tetsu, Sefi, and all these other like old school Germans that used to play with them. Yeah, they just came out like prodigies, and I still feel like Germany is number one in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no doubt about that right now. Like, if you ask the UK players, they'll say Germany's number one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see like Team Europe play well. I don't know how well Tetsu played.
He played well. All three of them put on some stellar performances. The standout that I wanted to point to was Strog, because Strog.
Okay.
I've got Europe versus the Middle East here on the screen. Strog OCV'd the team. He beat all 3 players by himself. The other
Really?
2, Tetsu and Don Billy, didn't even need to play the Middle East because Strog was the anchor, and that was it. That's all she wrote. For those who are in the chat who want to watch an absolutely banger set, go and watch Europe versus the Middle East. If you love Steve, it's essential viewing because it's basically the way that I describe Strog is he's kind of like the perfect in-between of low-high and Naman. He's got the basics of low-high. He knows exactly when to throw 1-2-1. He doesn't toss out a whole lot of counter hit launches, but when he needs to, he goes full Naman and just it's all plus frames, it's all stance mix-ups. His knowledge and ability to transition between different stances in the right situations is crazy. And not even Rife could take him down. And Rife was playing on fire this whole tournament. Yeah, very impressive showing from the EU lads, and especially old mate Strog. But Tetsu and Don Billy were putting in work. They did some good stuff in this tournament. Yeah, it was good.
Great. Who did Tetsu play? Did he play Claudio or did he play like Lydia?
He did.
Claudio, I believe.
I think he brought out Lydia at one point, but it was Claudio pretty much the entire tournament. Yeah.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I know Lydia got nerfed a bit. Sorry, not Lydia. Claudio got like nerfed slightly, but he's got that new charge, whatever BS. Like I don't know what's going on with him anymore.
Yeah, the new string.
It's become like Guile with a charge like projectile. I don't know.
The spirit gun.
Yeah. Interesting stuff going on with Claudio right now. But yeah,
Claudio won the tournament. So
with Mulgold, exactly. Yeah, shouts to Mulgold. Mulgold's he's an interesting one because I remember. Okay, I'll tell you a story about Mulgold. The first time I met Mulgold, I went to Korea with Joka and Spag, and we go up to, like he came up to Joka and me, and he said, "Pakistan Zindabad." And if you don't know what that means, for those that don't know what that means, it means long live Pakistan.
Yeah.
And it's a thing Pakistanis say a lot, like Pakistan Zindabad, like stuff like that. It's a very like patriotic national thing. So we were just like, what? And then he just walked away. That was it. And he came back like a few minutes later, like, Assalamu alaikum. And we're like,
oh my God, where's he learning this from?
Well, we're just like, how are you? He's like, Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Like, he just starts throwing out all, the Arabic, the Islamic words. And we're just like looking at each other, like, what's this guy doing, bro?
Yeah.
It was funny, though. But we asked him, like, why do you know these words? He's like, actually, I watch a lot of Pakistani Tekken.
Yeah.
And my biggest inspiration is Atif.
Yeah.
So I want to play like Atif. So, and if you really watch like End of 7, Morgold, Akuma, he's just a Korean that is a Pakistani, from the inside. It's crazy. His whole style is replicated from Pakistan. He's learned and watched the most, and he's quite young as well. He's like 25 now. So
yeah.
Him, Ulsan, and the rest are definitely gonna pave the way for Korea in the future. Yeah. But yeah, it's really interesting to see Morgold's evolution. He's winning master events. He's won 2 masters last year. Mm-hmm. He won Versus Fighting, and then he won the Korea event, which was mad stacked. Obviously, I think as a player, the only problem is when it comes to the biggest events, so like the EWCs, the finals, he kind of falls short a bit.
Yeah.
But I think that's because of pressure, and even like Korea versus Pakistan, like he was given a monumental task to beat everyone,
Yep.
It was kind of insane.
Yeah, but he pulled through. It was the same with Ulsan. Ulsan's since gone on to win a lot of really big events, most notably EWC recently. Towards the end of T7, it was like, Ulsan's the future. We also had a bit of Gen as the future for Japan. Unfortunately, he's no longer in the scene, but...
who's that? Sorry,
what happened to?
Who is that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we don't say that word.
But we did see that evolution with Ulsan, where he went from a hopeful to conscribed into the military, so nobody knew if he was going to come back and kick ass. He comes back. It's the Leroy Evo. He somehow makes top 8 using Bob and Kazumi, and everyone else in the top 8 was playing either Leroy or Julia, who nobody was paying attention to because everyone was focused on Leroy and nobody thought, maybe Julia's fucking crazy, which ended up being the case. And now Morgold, he's like the next exciting prospect for the Korean scene. and Edge as well. But I think Morgold's really been steaming a path recently. His last few events, he's been doing
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic, and it's exciting to see where he's going to go. What I
Absolutely.
wanted to ask you, because we're about to go into Crew Cup, which is really exciting. For those
Yes.
who don't know, what was Crew Cup? If you could give us an intro.
Cool. So Crew Cup, for those that don't know, is essentially a team tournament that me and Joka kind of came up with. It's not the most original idea, but we really like Master Cup. I think if you're a Tekken fan, you think Master Cup is probably the best tournament because it's the most interesting one, right? It's first to one, 5v5, Japan, Korea goes, all the Japanese players come out, and historically it's been one of the most oldest running series for Tekken in Japan, right? Started all the way back like 2005 or something or 2006. It's insane. So we didn't go to Master Cup. We went to a kind of a replica Master Cup, but it was character locked. So it was a funny thing. So originally, Gosane, Spag, and Joka were gonna make a Team Fang, and they made it without me. So I was like, all right, whatever, right? I'm gonna find 2 Steve players somehow. And it was like a day before signups. I messaged Margin Obama. I'm like, yo, where can I find Steve players? He's like, dude, you're kind of cooked. And I messaged the organizer, Moscow Raija, and I was like, yo, do you know any Steve players? And lo and behold, we found 2 Japanese Steve players. There's actually one of them is half Pakistani, half Japanese. His name is Daniel. I really think he's super strong because he trained a lot in Pakistan because he lived there most of his life, but now he lives in Japan. He's really strong poetry. I think you should really watch him. He's gonna be a really strong player that comes out of Japan if he travels and plays more.
That's
Because he was carrying us a lot at the end. Anyways, went to that tournament. I'd never really experienced a team tournament before, so I was kind of curious what it was like. And I didn't know these 2 guys. And our matches was so effing intense, bro.
Yeah.
Our first round, we played Hazuru Metal and his Kuma team.
Jesus.
And I'm like, what? What the hell? And yeah, we played, we lost, but it was hella fun. It was really close.
Quick question. Who does Hazare Metal play in this? Because I only know him from ICFC era, so it was Gigas.
Kuma. He plays Kuma now.
Of course.
Yes. Yes, sir. He plays Kuma now.
Yeah.
So we lost, obviously. So we went to losers. We played a Horang team, and there was a girl. I forgot her name. But I played against her, and she almost beat me, and she screamed when she lost. And I got yeah. She screamed. And I just dude, what the fuck? But it was cool because she was mad calm, and then she's wearing a mask, and she just screamed. I'm like, the fuck? And I was like, alright, cool.
Those,
then I got to play another. Yeah, we take those. And then we went to another Horang player, and I lost. This guy was Japanese Horang players or Asian Horang players are just so different to European. They're just way more patient. They're just don't do anything. I'm like, oh shit, I can't counter hit them with back one. Shit.
Yep.
I gotta play fundamentals, but I didn't clock in into that in a first to one. You gotta just lock in round by round, not game by game.
Yeah.
So I lost. We send in Daniel. He beats him, and then I think in the 3rd game, he lost, and he came down to this guy. I forgot his name. I can't pronounce it in Japanese, but he's an old school Tekken 5 player.
Yeah.
Tall Japanese guy, super chill though, super nice. He's from Saitama. He just helped us, and we won, and we all just popped off. We were like, yeah, and shit like that.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah, and then we played whose team did we play? I think we played Matsuba's team. It was a Feng team or something.
Yeah,
we beat them as well.
Oh, nice.
And then Daniel just started going crazy. He started just beating the fuck out of every team. And then we came to Joker's team and we lost. But yeah, that was our main. So we experienced that, and I spoke to Joker and Spy. I'm like, bro, we need to do this in the UK.
Yeah,
we've got to do something different. So yeah, Crew Cup kind of came from that. So originally, it was going to be first to one each match, which I feel like it should have been at the end. But I just thought, yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
To say the very good. And it's a big learning curve, again, because I'm used to first to 2 double limb, maybe with a side bracket. So this is a very big learning curve for me and others. Thank God it wasn't first to one. Sega, I think it should be first to one because that was way too long.
For those who don't know, the stream length was 11 hours and 10 minutes. So
yeah.
It was a long event.
That's not... It went up to 12 in the night, and I don't think that's fair. Because there's a lot of Scottish people that came down and they came and grabbed dinner.
Old mate Wildo,
shout out. Yeah, shout out to... I want to give a shout out to the Scottish people soon, but yeah. So essentially, it should have been first to one. Then when season 2 came out, me and Joka thought, I'll be real, I didn't think this event was going to be that successful. I didn't think we'd get 34 teams to start with. I thought we would get maybe like 15 at best, and or like call it a day. But for some reason, everyone just showed up at the end, like they always do, which I highly appreciate that. And big love to everyone. So essentially, what happened was, we're gonna make this like first to one. They were like, let's make it first to two, and then I really saw like the matches, and I'm like, oh, the first match has been on for an hour on stream and it hasn't finished yet.
Yep.
This isn't good. To be fair, we had like a lot of technical problems that we never had before. So
yeah,
like, and again, this is the thing with TOing. Like, if you run an event, you're gonna have problems you just never thought of.
Yep.
And it's something you can't prepare for. So you're gonna gotta be ready for anything. So for some reason, like when people would connect their controllers, it just like crashed the game, or like the controller just wasn't working, and they were using like PS5 pads or whatever. So yeah, it was a bit bad, to say the least. Anyways, for Crew Cup itself, like the development and the idea is that we had to make it original. So obviously Master Cup's a big inspiration, but we're like, what are we gonna do about the logo and stuff? So we actually I don't know if you know Skunk is. He's a YouTube editor.
Yep.
I'm good friends with him, and he actually built the logo. We actually like commissioned him.
That's sweet. So
if you can see with like the crew and the cup, it did take a few iterations, but we got it done. He helped with the video as well, so shout out to Skunk, always doing bits for the Tekken scene. So we created that, and the color palette, we were like, we kind of want to give it prestige and stuff, so we think like purple's a royal color and stuff like that. Like we went with that theme and like kind of like the gradients and etc. I don't think people realize like how important color is and how it can invoke emotions and feelings. So I always recommend, like, when you're thinking of an event, think of the philosophy, think of the idea. Colors can really play an important role into that. So yeah, that was really like the idea and like the philosophy with the design with Crew Cup. Obviously, like I wanted actually even more. For example, I wanted so originally there was gonna be a regional thing. So I asked every TO from the UK that is from a certain region, not all of them, because I don't think they would come down. Like, I don't think people from Liverpool would come down. There's only like 9 of them, right? But I asked Scotland, I asked Bristol, I asked Brighton, I asked Manchester, Birmingham, etc. Hey, would you guys be down to come to represent the team? What we'd do before the top 6 is that you create a team for your region, and we'll all play it out and see who's the best region, and it's for fun.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know if you know this, but in the UK there is still a debate of what's the best region. It's legit between maybe like Birmingham and London. And Birmingham, because they have very strong players, they've got Immortal X, they've got Dante. They don't play as often, competitive as far as I know. I don't remember like, when Dante or Immortal played in a Tekken 8 tournament. Maybe it's recent, but they don't travel as much, but they're very strong. Now they've got people like Ayo Richie, Cloud T7, Koenji, Cup of Noodles. There's a new one called Gareth Gaff. That's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, there's like 6 really strong players from Birmingham now. And Joka, obviously, right? King of the UK. And then there's London, right? There's got Kalis, you got Kana Trench, you got Gosane, you got Chicken Mario 20, you got Dinosaur, False God, Neon K, Arab. You got like such strong players from the. Yeah, it's super stacked. So there aren't any tournaments besides versus fighting that people go to for Birmingham. So like the Brummy players do come to London, and they have like pretty good success. Like Cloud won a tournament again, and he beat Joka in the finals, and Joker's won like he's conquered London. He's won almost every London tournament he goes to. Okay.
Yeah.
Despite every strong player being there. So there's this like pattern of like, oh, is London or Birmingham stronger? Is Brighton stronger than Bristol? Is Scotland better than Manchester or whatever, right?
Yeah, people want to know.
These are like things. Yeah, so I wanted people to just come down and like, yo, who's the best players? Let's get them to play against each other in a team format. Let's see who wins, and the winner will get like a customized stick and stuff like that. That was developing. Well, turns out some people just didn't want to come because of
Yeah.
season 2, which was understandable. Some people just dropped out because they just didn't want to play. And yeah, the only people that showed up were really Brighton, Bristol, and London, I guess, and Scotland. Those are the only 4 regions that, I mean, London's obviously going to be there, but Scotland, like, again, I can't emphasize, these are the first people that signed up, and these are the first people that always show love and support
That's
to any
sweet, man.
events we do. So yeah, shout outs to Wilder, shout outs to the Dusty, shout outs to Sage, shout outs to Jack99, shout outs to AC, who was a last minute replacement, shout out to Peaceman. I can go on and on. Like, yeah, they're always there. Shout outs to Banter Kai. You know, love to those guys. Such huge support. It really encouraged me to do this event. Like,
That's awesome,
showing
man.
that early love. Yeah, so they came down, and I told them, like, yeah, you guys win the regional thing because you signed up first in my eyes, so it's okay. You guys can say you're the best region.
Let's go. Let's go.
TO approved. But yeah, so that was kind of the idea for the regional thing. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen. And yeah, I think it was pretty cool storylines as well and standout performances. So, and we're talking about like attendees and stuff. So, for example, I think before like season 2, we were like 30 attendees.
Yeah.
And then like it just spiked up to like 114, I think, at the end.
Mhm.
There was some like last minute replacements and stuff. And there was also like cosplayers that came down, content creators, and people that wanted to bring their girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever. So yeah, we had like maybe like 125, 30 people in the venue at
Wow.
one given time, which is insane. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane.
That's huge, man.
It's probably bigger than maybe my double KOs that get like
Yeah.
121 like signups. So yeah, shout out to everyone that came down, showed love. Yeah, in terms of attendees, we've done really well considering like everyone thought the game was gonna die the next day.
For real.
Probably
dude.
could have got even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably could have got even more. And then yeah, I think in predictions, I thought maybe KOS's team or Gosain's or Chikamaru's gonna win, but obviously Neon K's team won, which is
Yeah.
Neon K, Kiba Omega, Kanan Trench. You know, a very strong team. Kiba, you know, he was an online player. Now he's told me like he really wants to go offline and compete. So I'm excited for him. I feel like he has a lot of potential in the future to like, you know, stand out and do bits for himself. He's from Luton, so he's only like an
Yeah,
hour
fair
away
enough.
from London. So yeah. Those guys performed. They got like their arcade sticks and whatnot. And I think, you know, the stand-up performances, honestly, my favorite performance was maybe AC's.
Yeah.
AC probably had the base. Yeah, he clutched a lot for like Wilder's team. I think Wilder can like attest to that. Like
Yeah.
he beat a lot of strong players. He beat, you know, Dew Glider's team, which
Mhm.
was like Dew Glider, Wag Boy, Sega. You know, very like maybe the fourth or third strongest team in that tournament.
Yeah.
He beat Brighton's team. Like he beat so many people. I think he beat Dinosaur, False God, Ace of Marco's team. You know, obviously like the other players helped as well, but like I think AC was my MVP for that tournament. He just came
Yeah.
back from Japan and he just showed bits for no reason.
Yeah.
You know. So shout outs to AC. I think he was like the standout performance
Yeah, because
in
that
that
team
tournament.
got third place, as you guys can see on the stream.
Yeah.
And it's a stacked event, man. It's a stacked event. Like seeing Team Scotland up above the as skillful as possible, who I was putting some money on. Yeah, that's incredible. AC MVP.
Yeah, honestly MVP. I had to like TO the event and run it and play. So I had to like, and my team wasn't like say the best, because obviously I'm just like, hey, who wants to make a team? Just join me. I don't mind if you're new or whatever. Like I want you guys to play. It wasn't the best, but I had to like OCV every time, and I was just getting so frustrated about it. I was like, man, why do I have to fucking OCV every team, bro? I had to like, I always OCV'd Chrome's team, so it was Chrome, Crescent, Mugen. I beat Chrome and Mugen.
Yeah.
But then I had to, but it came to the last scenario and I got low parried. It was
rough.
fine. It was whatever. Yeah, it's okay. I thought it was funny. But we move.
We move, and then you gotta get on the mic as well, and you're organizing.
And then I gotta get on the mic. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like you just gotta keep your. That's why like I really sometimes just want to play, not like do these events, but then I don't know who's gonna do these events, so I don't have a choice. So, yeah.
This happened to me. I mentioned that pre-COVID, like just before COVID, things were popping off. So I hadn't gotten into the scene too long before COVID hit, like literally like a couple months prior, and I was addicted. I was going to every single event. I remember the first time I got 35 and 0'd by Blind Duality. If you're out there, Blind, I love you. and he kept on telling me, why are you pressing and why are you moving so much? I didn't understand it, so he just kept beating me, and he'd just be like, "Hey, don't press." And I get hit, like, "Hey, don't press." And
That's
it was
it.
rough. It's one of those important life lessons. I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for him. And I was so inspired, in fact, that I decided to run an event. So I ran an event called Doncaster Fights, or DF1, as I advertised it. And I don't even think I probably got maybe 2 or 3 hours total from all of the DF1 events I ran. I think I ran like 5 or 6 of actual playtime. And these aren't even tournaments or anything. It's mostly just casuals and stuff. But if you're the one running the event, you're probably not playing much. Like, that's just how it is. So the fact that you were able to still OCV a bunch of teams, like, kudos to your skill. And then hopping back on the mic as if nothing happened, you know, it takes a sturdy mental.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
I don't think people know, like, I'm not that bad of a player. I'm not that washed. I think it's usually a like misconception that TOs just suck or commentators suck at the game. But I feel like Tekken is the few ones where actually the TOs are really fucking good at the game.
Oh,
you know?
dude, I remember
like,
when WUFL happened, WUFL, this EU tournament, invitational, massive production budget built off of Counter-Strike skin gambling or some shit. I don't know, but it was a really cool event. And I remember they were running first to sevens, and I think Spag had the best record on Arslan. He didn't beat him. I don't think anyone beat Arslan in the first to sevens, but Spag was like 5 and 7, and it was like, oh shit, okay, these guys are good.
Spag, like, I can't tell you how good he is. Like, I've never beaten Spag in a set to this day. And it's been like, I don't know, 5 years or something. And I can beat other people, really strong players. In a set with Spag, there's a mental barrier between me and him where he just tries to piss me off, and I just can't be asked, and I rage. Like, there's a few stories of that. You can ask him or like Rukang, but yeah, Spag is a really strong player, and Rip is a strong player. Steve is not a bad player.
We got Brownman in the chat. Brownman almost.
Brownman, I've heard of Brownman.
He almost knocked Prime Gen out of a bracket at a TWT event. He beat AK at a TWT event. Dude's a nutcase.
That's crazy.
Brownman's alright, man.
Yeah. No, Brownman is sick. Who else? Like Pun Life, he's a TO and commentator. He does really well as well. He wins from a few locals there and there.
Yeah.
Waldo, I mean, look, he came third, and he pretty much helps run the Scottish scene.
Waldo's the guy.
So yeah, like everyone that's usually like a TO or commentator, they are like semi-decent at this game in Tekken, which I think is really cool. And I don't feel like it's a result for other games. Yeah,
for real. I wanted to run over your post-event tweet real quick.
Yes.
We've got to have one of these. Run a good event, you earn it. You earn the essay, and we love to see it. I'm just going to quickly skim read through it. So yeah, thank you everyone who came and supported the first edition of Crew Cup. Most proud of working on this with my brother Joka. Both of us have had the same ambition to push out new formats for the community to enjoy and experience, which is fucking huge. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and a big source of inspiration for this has come from Master Cup, which is run by the legendary Masakara Jin. That's why I really wanted to continue to thank him for his hard work on this series, and a few more thanks here. And then one thing that you noted, we'll get to this second paragraph in just a moment, but the third paragraph here, you noted, I'm a bit disappointed with the lack of support for these events from Bandai Namco UK. It'd be nice to have giveaways for the community that travels from across the UK to show love and passion they have for the game. Not necessarily financial support, just want attendees to get something for consistently supporting the offline scene. Feels like the UK isn't being treated with the respect it deserves. Why hasn't there been a challenger event in London? Namco, please, why? Our scene alone draws bigger monthly numbers than some challengers last year. This isn't even mentioning Scotland, Bristol, Birmingham, Manchester, and other UK scenes that lack the support. If you don't look after your plants, how do you expect your garden to turn out? Two big things on this, because I fully agree with you here, especially on the no challengers. This is what I wanted to start with. There's no challenger for London?
Nope. I don't think there has been.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember, since I started. Maybe there was in the past, but I don't think there was. Maybe there was Lions Den, but Lions Den never became one. No, there's never been a challenger. There should be a master even.
What big events do you have in London nowadays?
Double KO.
Double
That's
K.
it.
Yeah.
Are you guys
It's my
like
event.
trying to get it? Yeah. Are you trying to get it? Like talking with them and stuff? Because I hope you do. You
I
guys.
can't.
do
I'm
get
not gonna say if I've spoken to him or not, but
Yeah.
It's the
I
dream,
will
though.
say that like it should have happened.
Yeah.
And it should have
Mhm.
happened maybe this year or at least next year, and it should have happened, but unfortunately it hasn't.
Mhm.
Obviously, like yeah, that's one point. What's the second point you want to talk about? And then I
Yeah.
can talk about
And
more about
then
this point.
you'd mentioned about the lack of support from Bandai Namco UK regarding the
Mhm.
event.
Yep. Yeah. So obviously, I'm a shill, so I can't say much, guys. Namco helps us; they give us all the money and stuff. But nah, on the real, I think you don't really appreciate like people coming offline to play your shitty game
Mhm.
until you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I do feel like maybe Namco UK needs to realize that a bit. Because like Sega's in the chat. Sega comes from, I believe, Reading. Like that costs money to play a game where he's gonna get mixed up.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a little bit insane to play this game and to travel across. So, and people that play this game, then they don't just play; they stream about it, they tweet about the game, they make YouTube, they make content. They are giving free marketing
Yeah.
to Namco. The fact that you come to play their product, because you like the community, you like the vibes, you like the competition. I don't see why we can't get a little, here's a sticker,
Yeah.
here's a
There's something.
shirt, I don't want money. Like Double KO, I don't make money from it. And I've always told people my intention is not to make money. If I didn't make money, I'd do other events. Like doors open for me. I could go somewhere else.
Because
I have
you've
all the
been part
experience
of
I
all
need.
the esports. Yeah. But
Yes,
you choose to
I've
be a
spoken.
part of Tekken, right?
Yeah, I choose about Tekken because my friends are here. I love the people. I love the community. I love the game. I love the legacy. I love the history.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I'm here. Even when like this game is such a bad state and people are like, I want to go to this game. I'm like, dude, I'll still be here. I don't care if Tekken is like nobody plays it. I will still be here because this is something that's changed my life in a very positive aspect. It's made me not necessarily who I am, but it's really helped me in my career, even like to getting a job, to meeting, to traveling. So, and I want that same opportunity for everyone else. So obviously, like, I think Namco UK should really look at what we've done in London because we kind of like, if no one was going to do anything after Elf,
Yeah.
like WSO was maybe doing, like even when WSO came out, like with like Tekken, it wasn't as popular, unfortunately, and there's several reasons. But what Double KO has done, and it's not thanks to me, it's not just thanks to his sphere, it's thanks to the people that come down and are willing to play, talk, communicate, etc., etc. They're not playing for a lot of money. They're playing for maybe like I don't know, £400, like for first place or something, right?
Yeah.
Because all that money goes into prize pool and costs and stuff. So I really want Namco to just like look at the event, and I've spoken to him about it, and I've gotten like let's say empty promises, so I'm a bit
Yeah.
disappointed in them. And I don't criticize like companies because when there's like a bandwagon of hate or anything, I think sometimes you gotta just say, look, man, where the fuck are you guys? Like,
Yeah.
we kind of need you more than ever. You guys are in a very bad state in terms of PR.
Yeah.
Your game's been next to be bombed.
Yeah.
And you should show some respect and love to people that play your game because they can go and do anything else. They can like Sega is like I don't know, he's a kickboxer. He could just fucking go train and become a champion. Joka is a computer scientist, like security software developer or whatever. He could just go work, earn six figures, never look back. Tendo is in the back of that picture. He is a content career that can go into anything else.
Yeah.
Make it big, but he loves the game. He comes down. The Scottish people don't even come down because they just enjoy,
The
an iron
Highlands.
brew and a pie or whatever.
Yeah,
They enjoy
bagpipes and
with an iron brew.
shit. Getting the kilts on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do so much stuff, but they decided to come down for this game, and I feel like that deserves respect. I think not just for coming down, but everyone that was at the event is involved in UK Tekken in one facet or another. If it's Joey who came down, who runs like the Bristol scene. If it's again like Wilder does the Scottish scene. If it's Sherdo. If it's like what's his name, Chue, Yusuf. These guys that help up the Brighton scene. They deserve something. I don't deserve much, right? Because what I'm really doing is I'm just bringing everyone to come and play. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I want those people that come down, spend their money to get something back from Namco. You know, like this is what I was thinking of creating, like maybe a PR system. Like, what can we do to like incentivize people to come down, bro?
Yeah.
Besides a double elimination Tekken World Tour points, this is like what Crew Cup was an answer to. Like, let's make it interesting and different because, like, team tournaments, they add a level of excitement that you don't feel in a fighting game because it's a single, you know, 1v1.
Yeah.
You only get that from playing, I don't know, League of Legends or Dota or CS, where you're rooting for your teammate to clutch. You're looking for the comeback. You're feeling the loss. It fucking hurts, man.
Yeah.
But that pain is a shared experience, you know? And those shared experiences create, you know, last long memories. You know, I'm never gonna forget how I lost against Crescent. It's funny as fuck in my point. And I'm sure Crescent, the high Crescent must have felt winning.
Yeah.
Must have been sick. I'm sure, you know, other teams must have landed a sick combo and they're gonna remember I landed that combo with that guy. That was cold, you know?
Yeah.
These are things that I wanna create, you know, I wanna do. And I want Namco to just help in a very minimal factor.
Because it's mutually
obviously, like-
beneficial. Like if Namco just
Exactly.
decide to tell you, hey, we've got these really dope shirts that you guys can sell at the event. And we'll still take most of the money for them, but you guys will be the first to get a hold of them. Or hey, we'll shout you out on Twitter. We'll post about you. We'll post about the stream.
Yeah.
Or like it's things that are very low effort on their side in order to have a really big impact for you as the organizer and for your scene. Doesn't take a lot.
It's a win-win, bro. Like it's so easy. I don't want like I know they're gonna spend like another like I don't know $100,000 on a booth for like Comic-Con or whatever and say yeah, job well done, guys. But like what they should do is just like look at what I'm doing, look at what Brighton's doing, look at what Bristol, what Scotland, and all these other scenes. You know, like I think you know the Southwest Tekken scene, so like Bristol, that Pun Life goes to a lot. They've grown a lot and they've created a really cool community. You know, the Bristol scene. They get everyone from like Southwest England and London to come down, and even people from outside of that region to come down. So they've created a really cool thing, but I don't see Namco saying, what do you need from us, guys? How can we help you? You know, instead of growing, they're just like, yeah, let it happen. We're gonna start focusing on I don't know, a shitty Naruto game that's coming out, like Naruto Shippuden, Ninja Tsunami Storm, whatever.
Exactly.
Like that's where the budget goes. It's like I'm not asking for money. I'm asking you guys to send me like basic stuff.
Because you've
And
noted at the
Namco's
end
a
of it, like at the end of your tweet, I've been pondering why I even do this, but I get it now. These events create long-lasting memories for attendees and push the scene to grind. My dream is for the UK to become one of the strongest regions globally, and seeing new and old players stay motivated, that's an important word, keeps me going. There's so many ways that Namco can, for minimal effort on their part, increase the motivation for your entire scene just by saying, hey, we see you, we're aware, we'll give you some merch that you can sell at the event. We'll plug your event on our socials, yada, yada, yada. And it's not, I think one thing that Tekken has shown, at least to me, versus some other fighting game scenes and some other esports scenes, is I think Tekken players on average, like the ones who are really deep into the scene, tend to be a little bit older and tend to be like a little bit more cordial and respectful on the mic. I don't think it's necessarily been intended, but if you look at the history of Melee, part of the reason they've had so many conflicts with Nintendo is they've really tried to push for grassroots, whatever that means. And you used to see it on a lot of the earlier tournaments, and even when Melee got added to the MVP league, was it MVP? Not MVP. MLG, the MLG league back in like 2008 or some shit. It tended to be a little rougher around the edges, a bit more swearing accidentally on the microphone. You know, this kind of stuff, right? I feel like Tekken has a very clean visual representation in terms of how the streams look and in terms of how the general community leaders in a given region communicate. It looks good, man. It looks good. Your event that you've run here, which is by all means grassroots, it's you and Joka having an idea and being like, hey, we've got the means, let's make it happen. And yet it comes out looking professional, looks clean, you've got good talent on the microphone, and people are having a good time. This is something that Namco can absolutely push onto their own feeds if they wanted to, and push out there with pretty much no risk of any kind of mishap or anything happening, because the scene's got a good rep. And it would be a shame to see them, you know, continue to be silent, I suppose, on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. And like, I think one thing I'm really proud about from this event is the fact that, Joka wants to take more like steps to be more involved in the scene. He's me and Joka are very close, not just because we look like each other, but we're very good close friends.
If you guys couldn't
Even before
tell.
Falcons. Yeah. In this picture, we do look alike.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Like, we're very close friends. We talk a lot. Me, Gosain, Joka, Spag, a few others. Well, Kwis, Tendo, Sync. We're all like really good like friends. We give each other advice and shit. Like I told Joka, like, look what Japan is doing in Street Fighter. In Japan, Street Fighter players are much involved in building the community and helping the community, giving back.
Mhm.
If that's in events, if that's in like, lessons or content, content that helps, people learn the game and stuff like that. Daigo, Takido, all these people in Japan, like Street Fighter, now even in Tekken with like Nobi and stuff, they
Yeah.
do a lot for their scene
Mhm.
and they give back to the scene. If you're a big player, it's your responsibility to help your scene because, what did I say? You got to look after your plants if you want a good garden. I do a lot of gardening and I came up with that, by the way. It's a pretty good metaphor. Yeah, it's a banger for sure. But yeah, you gotta look after everyone around you. You gotta show that wealth, a little bit of socialism there and there, if you get what I mean. Because you gotta help like your scene. You gotta do these events. If you got the leverage to do so, just do it, man. Because if you don't, you're gonna be very stagnant in your scene. And I think after this event, me and Joka, we talk about, okay, it was a good event, but we talk about what's next. How are we going to improve Crew Cup 2? When are we going to do it next year? Like, what can we do? Like, spoilers, we'll make it a 2-day event, We'll have proper exhibitions. Like, Europeans were interested, we got a lot of views for the event.
Yeah.
The sponsors were super happy when I spoke to them. Because Kwamba, Razer, and a local, like, stick manufacturer, Overdrive, shouts to them. They helped sponsor this event,
That's amazing.
and they gave away prize. Yeah, so this is like the first time we worked with pretty good, like, arcade like controllers and stuff like that, and levelless controllers. So there's so much potential that we can just build from that event alone. And what do we think about the next event? So if you're a top player and you're listening to this, like, help your scene even if like 10 people come down.
Yeah.
Because it goes a long way. Look at Book literally played the Bangkok scene so much that they started just becoming good.
Yeah.
And Thailand is not a bad region anymore. They're like kind of decent.
They had
like they're semi-decent.
no
and
choice, man. It's been a similar
no
sort
choice.
of thing here in Australia. It was
Right.
kind of hush a little, but Yagami was running a tournament series on Discord, like super long 1st to 7 matches. Unfortunately, season 2 patch hit and everyone stopped participating. But for a long while, he's basically been, and he's not a super social dude, but he gets stuff done. So I want more people to play. I'm going to set up a system. I'm going to have 1st to 10s every week, 3 days a week. And then I'm going to set up a tournament series where it's 1st to 7s. Anyone who's a top player in the country can join, and then everyone can get better together. It's always mutually beneficial to participate outside of just playing, because you'll get more people interested. You'll get more people who have an ego and have a grudge and are sick of getting 10-0'd by you, who start to block that string and start to punish that thing and start to actually challenge you. And it's super important. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. It was quite a fun experience, actually, and I was really, really keen for the next season. I was about to be promoted on my like bracket of that Yagami league. And then season 2 happened, and I'm like, nah, just kick me out. Yagami. I'm not playing. I'm not playing.
Oh my god, that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, the patch hit our offlines hard. This was another thing I wanted to ask you about, because
yeah.
We've
100%.
Yagami himself has tweeted about it. We spoke about it last stream, but offline attendance just sank, and it was thanks to the I guess the willingness of the people who have been running events to be like, hey, let's run a T7 bracket. Hey, let's run a T6 bracket. Hey, let's try something different. They literally had to do this kind of stuff. It doesn't necessarily sound innovative or anything crazy, and obviously that's been the flavor of the week on Twitter is, why not my Tekken 5 DR, whatever the hell. You need to do stuff like that to compensate for changes like this. Like our scene, literally, you take a look at photos of locals, you're going from like 20 to 40 people down to like 6 or 7. And so I want to know what it's been like for you post patch and how you've kind of had to work around that.
Yeah, so I think it's a little hard to say again, just because like again I run monthlies and I'm planning to start the monthly after like the tour starts.
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure when. Maybe June, May. I probably June in my eyes. So yeah, it's gonna be see. Hopefully, there's more patches will fix the game.
Yeah.
Crew Cup. I don't know if it's an exception or if it's like still a result of that. Like the UK scene is strong, and like maybe the recent patch was good. Because again, it wasn't a tournament where a lot wasn't aligned. It was for fun, and then that may be why it was so successful because people aren't taking it too seriously. Like just accepted like the bullshit.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. I don't know honestly what's gonna happen. I suspect it's not gonna be that big. Like I don't expect like maybe 120 turnout like every month that we used to get. Right. That's fine. I'm fully accepted that, and maybe it's a good thing because now we've got to work harder. That's all I can say. Other scenes and locals, again, I'm not entirely sure. I think the Bristol scene's still pretty active.
Yeah.
They still do weeklies and stuff. They still get the same amount of numbers. But I do feel like it's really hit Australia hard.
Yeah.
I've seen other scenes like in America where they're like, this is a Tekken local, nobody comes. And it's like, yeah, I mean, a college local, I don't know, like a college campus. I don't know how accurate a representation this is. And I think this is the problem with Twitter is that it's building a sentiment that Tekken is dead. It's like Tekken is far from dead.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be hit hard.
Yeah.
Tekken can't listen, Tekken has died before. And people were still playing the shit. The same people will play the game because they can't play any other game. Okay, this is the problem with Tekken players. We suck at fighting games. Okay, we're going to play Tekken.
Really?
And you know what? I just want to play Tekken. I don't want to play a fucking other game. I fucking love Tekken.
Yes.
I don't give a
Real.
Yes. Yes. Say that again.
Dude, it's
No,
real.
I'm serious. They're like, yeah, see you guys Street Fighter 6. I'm like, I don't give a shit about Street Fighter 6.
I don't give a fuck about your 2D anime game.
Yeah.
Get it out of my
I
face,
try,
bro.
dude. Literally, like every year, there'll be a 2D fighting game that comes out, and I'll be like, this is the one. And I'll boot it up, I'll play for about 10, 15 hours, and I'll never touch it again.
Let me tell you, right?
dude.
Sidestep with Punish is one of the greatest dopamine hits in video game history.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so weird to me that like they're like, yeah, we'll see you in 2KXO, and I'm just like, bro, I got tag 2. I don't need this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I think Tekken is still the most fun fighting game, and it's the easiest one to like understand to an extent. Maybe not with so much effects now. Hopefully, it'll tone it down. But it's still a fighting game. Like you just watch and you can understand, and it's way more rooted in like legacy and like my childhood. And I'm sure a lot of new people that got into Steam have the similar story. Like Tekken is not gonna die. It's gonna go low, which is fine. I am afraid though, like Twitter is not helping this because I saw some guy say, I'm going to my local, and then he tweets like 9 people showed up. That's a fucking local. Why is what? Even if 3 people show up, that's
Well,
a
this
local.
is
Run the
like,
set, bitch.
This was the last thing that you had on the tweet that I wanted to cover. So I'll just read through this real quick. Now for a few personal thoughts from me. I'm getting really tired of seeing certain things in the community, especially here on X, becoming increasingly toxic and negative about every aspect of the game. I still think the game isn't in a balanced or perfect state either, but the way that some people have been tweeting non-stop for the last 3 weeks has made our community seem worse than it is. Please log off, have a laugh, and move on. If you truly don't enjoy it, just don't play. It's okay. People are tweeting boycott Tekken 8. They might be the most useless criticisms I've seen from this community, and it trivializes real-life boycotts and struggles that have actual meaningful impact. Like, real as hell, dude. Real as hell.
And just to get to this, let's begin with the boycott. If you were part of the boycott, I think you're a fucking dumbass to begin with. I think I'm keeping it PC, but I would use much more like harder terms. But I think you're a stupid idiot that just follows a few content creators that have not contributed to this community at once, only contribute negativity, self-centered. If you want to help the game, I don't care if you review bomb it, because I think that's fair criticism. I don't care if you tweet negatively sometimes about the game, that's fine. But to sign yourself to a boycott I don't think you understand what a boycott is and the extent of what a boycott is, right? Like, I'll talk about politics. Let's talk about Israel versus Palestine, right? People that boycott Israel, they don't boycott one company. They boycott every single aspect of anyone that supports the Israeli government's genocide that's happening right now, right? You don't boycott Tekken 8 and then go play Tekken 7.
Oh, here's the funny one. I saw people
Yeah.
posting like the list of players on that petition or something, and then someone had put like a comparison screenshot of how many of those players had last played T8 like 5 minutes ago or were currently logged on, and it's like, dude, like,
it's this whole boycott thing was the most dumbest shit, and
Yeah.
people that said this is cringe got shit for it. I think the people that honestly, if you genuinely signed up to this belief that this was gonna affect Namco, I think you're unemployed, maybe.
potentially.
You're not intelligent, and you just follow the wrong people in the wrong space, unfortunately. And I want you to like reflect on your dumbass signing your name into a boycott that's effectively done nothing.
Mhm.
And being for real, you've contributed so bad to this community and how we look to the outset that people are calling us Tekken refugees. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Dude,
like
it's wild.
it's so bad. And if you were part of this boycott, like, don't chat to me. I think you're dumb. But
Real.
yeah, the boycott was really seen. Like, there's ways of being constructive criticism. You can at Harada and Murray say, I don't like this. Fine. I can disagree or agree, but it's criticism. That's fair. You can review bomb the game. That's fine. You can make videos saying, I really don't like the state of the game, and here's why, and maybe this is what we can do. That is completely fine. Like, the game can be bad, and we can all say it's bad, but pushing people saying, if you're not boycotting the game, you're not actually caring about Tekken, you're a show. Like, I think you're either probably mad or jealous that, like, you know, there are people that are bigger than you that aren't boycotting, or you're just dumb. So I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, besides the boycott, I think Tekken Twitter, ever since like Elon Musk has taken over, surprise, surprise, it's gotten like 10 times worse.
It has.
I see content creators that I've never seen before get relevant space, and I've never seen them say a positive thing about Tekken 8. Or one day they'll say, I hate Tekken 8, I'm uninstalling the game, I'm putting my effort into, like, I don't know, art or muscle building, and then I'll see them post a Reina clip. Okay,
Like 2
there's
days
one
later.
content creator.
Yeah.
2 days later, or like that Devil Jin player who just, like, I don't know, forgot his name. He does not make any sense to me. I think it's Ryujin. Shouts to him, bro. But why do you always say I hate this game and I see you doing a combo the next day? Don't play the game, bro.
Don't play the game, dude.
You clearly have a bad relationship with this game. I don't understand you people. I didn't like Tekken 7 at one point. I just didn't play it that much, and I didn't tweet about it. I didn't like Tekken 8. I didn't like Tekken 8 Season 1 at the end. I thought it was shit. I didn't play it. If you don't like something, just don't play it and leave your criticism and move on. Don't need to, like, become such a psychopath about it.
No need, man.
It's so weird. Yeah, and I do feel like there's been a new wave of content creators that think we're the real truth tellers. You know, everyone that works, that, you know, FeedEX, Speed, Spag, everyone's a shill. You know, they say they have to say positive things about the game, otherwise Namco's gonna do this, do that. And, you know, if you're gonna make your content all about negativity, you're not really helping anyone. You're helping yourselves, because it's very self-centered. Like, this thing, it revolves around them, not the community.
Yeah.
I'm telling the truth. I'm the truth bearer. No, you're not. You're just a dumbass. That's what you are, bro. And I'm happy to speak to you in person about this, because all these people that have this energy, I have met them offline. They do not have this energy. They're very quiet.
Yeah.
It's very easy to go from your room and to say, yeah, Namco's killing the game and blah, blah, blah. They don't care about the community.
If you
I think it's fair to
really
say-
cared about it as much as the amount of content you put out about it, like, you wouldn't stick around. You would just go play a different game.
Yeah.
So it's
go play a
definitely,
different
there's
game.
definitely a hard grift aspect to it, which is really frustrating. It just pulls people away.
Yeah, Waddle said they also don't go offline most of the time, and they say offline is not worth the time or money.
Yeah.
Because again, it's all very self-centered. They don't care about the community. They care about, because negative content. Like, I work with social media apps and stuff. As my main job in marketing. We, like, buy a lot of, like, ad space, and like negativity is something they struggle with, because it gets the most attraction, because they build their algorithms around that. You know, Twitter is just built on negativity.
Yeah.
And it gives the most, you know, if I make a tweet saying, I'm sad, you know, this has happened, you know, please help me, it'll get more likes than me, like, talking about, I don't know, like 19th century Italian politics or something. You know, it's just how the algorithm is placed, you know. And it's a general human aspect, you know. It's like humans like feeling of negativity because it builds a story, it builds, you know, it confirms your biases and stuff like that. Like, I'll say this, Tekken has a lot of problems. Tekken 8 has so many problems. If it's from the competitive scene if it's from the balancing, if it's from the netcode, if it's from this, if it's like a cheater problem even, right? There's clearly issues with this game, and we're not denying it, but the way you go about it is so utterly bad and useless, and you're not really helping anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I just keep to myself because I don't like adding something saying a dumbass and stuff, because again, it feeds into the Twitter like algorithm of fighting and stuff. Like, I was in those early days of Facebook where we used to like fight in comments, and I quickly realized this is not useful at all, right? As a kid. As an adult, like, it's hard to have a conversation saying like, what is the best way of tackling this, right? What's the best way of being, positive whilst, giving a lot of criticism? So what's the best way we can help the developer? What's the best way we can help the players and community, We've gone so far beyond, like, honestly, the last 3 weeks was so crazy.
Yeah.
The shit people were saying. I genuinely think, maybe our community doesn't deserve a lot of the things we are given. But yeah, that's my kind of rant about that whole thing.
Yeah. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. I mean, I kind of wanted to roll out a little bit on the actual state of season 2 itself.
Yeah.
And you yourself, like, you play Steve.
Yes,
are there any
I
other
play
characters
Steve.
that you play?
I can play a few other characters.
But
I
it's
think placeholder
predominantly
remembers
Steve?
Yeah, I'd say he's still my number one character.
Yeah.
Because, I've been playing Steve for now, let's say 5 years, and to this day, I still don't think people know the matchup. That's one thing you'll learn. I'm genuinely serious. I don't think people know Steve matchup.
Yeah.
But placeholder knows I play Feng, I play Jack.
Yep.
I used to play a lot of Jack back in the day in 7. I don't like him now. I play who else? Play Claudio. I can play a lot of characters basically. But I'd say maybe like Steve, Jack, Feng are my best ones. I played Marduk a lot at the end as well in 7 because I thought I need to learn the matchup.
Yeah.
Remember play him. Yeah. So I play Steve a lot. What I think about the game right now, I kind of like the game, but I like the changes to the system. I think the character balance is just so bad. That's my only issue.
I'd have to agree.
I think. Yeah. I think sidestepping has been greatly buffed, which is good.
Yeah.
I think the chip damage thing is good. It's very big. The health buff, I don't think it's the best, but it's not bad. I think the character balance is so utterly terrible in this game now. Because I feel like Tekken 7 season 4, if you played it like how I did, you'd know the problem was that everyone was a counter hit character for no reason. Yeah. So everyone kind of lost their identity, and it was kind of like boring a bit.
Yeah.
I think it was still fun, but it was boring a bit. Season 1, Tekken 8, like, okay, everyone was getting canned mix-ups, but it wasn't as bad. But season 2, everyone is kind of the same and strong, which is the problem.
Yeah.
So Yoshimitsu is still a strong character for whatever reason. They buffed everyone. Like I don't. Kazuya got buffs. Like why? I don't know. Just I think those characters were fine at the end of like season 1. I think Steve was fine. I think he was strong at the end of season 1. Like I agree. He was really good. And now they've made him probably like top 5. Honestly, like with back 1 plus 2.
He's so good, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, I've never had this much ease with Steve.
Yeah.
And I think that's just my problem with the game, is the characters just aren't designed well right now, and that's something Namco can fix. But
I think you mentioning the health change feeling a bit inconsequential. It's funny because I think the health change is actually a big deal. But the problem is we've got the numbers on screen, so it's like yes, in a lot of situations I feel like I'm surviving longer, but also I'm seeing that this Reina is doing 105 damage with no wall. So like they've made all these changes to moves that characters have, the access to strong aerial tailspins, and it's completely like changed up the actual reward of this health buff because everyone's just doing so much damage anyway, and it's like, oh shit. Sometimes it just doesn't matter at all.
I think the health change, it's a weird one. Like I've played more games where like it does end and you're both like, final situation, but you're both times out, which I think is interesting. But I don't know what the developer thinks is cool of the game. I don't think Harada was like, by the way, in Master Cup we had 5 teams that were all just Namco that played in Master Cup. You probably didn't know who they were. And I'm like, yeah, I probably didn't know who they were because they probably sucked at the game, and because they clearly don't know how to balance this game properly at all, or like they're getting directions from above that aren't really like positive for the game.
Yeah.
They just don't understand characters. I don't know what their philosophy is with character design anymore.
Well,
like they make cool character aesthetics, but the overall like stances and stuff is like, why?
Well, they've come out and like there's been multiple apologies, which is crazy for Namco. And I'm hoping that this isn't just PR.
A lesson.
I'm hoping that they're actually going to be rolling out more patches because they've got a chance to really win back the goodwill. If they do a lot of small patches over time, that's always the biggest thing that happens. It's like a patch comes out that actually changes a few characters. That'll get a bunch of players back on. And then there's another one in like 3 weeks, and then another one a month later, and then another one a few weeks later. If they can do that, if they can keep it up until we can get to a point where Season 2 looks like what they were probably hoping Season 2 should have looked like in terms of public reception as well as gameplay, they've got a chance right now to win it back. Hopefully that'll lead into more general communication. Maybe you guys and other TOs around the world will start seeing more communication and more things happening. But I'm curious to know then, looking forward, what are things that you're hoping for in terms of changes to T8?
Yeah, so my number one is that Yoshimitsu gets deleted from the game.
Real?
He's gone.
Real.
Lars just
him getting extensions was like the thing that broke me. Like when his down forward 1 started doing extra shit after the fact, and I think it's still -1. It's like, okay.
Yeah, still -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so lost for words. Like, I think people need to understand, like, Tekken is a game where you already got a lot to learn. Adding more stuff to learn and like think about is not fun. It gets really boring and tiring, especially when you've got 60 seconds to clock in. So like the possibilities are always infinite, but it's not fun always just to think that, oh yeah, Lars has a down forward 1 mix up. Like, it's not fun for new players, it's not fun for old players, it's not fun for like, you know, intermediate or high players. No one is enjoying the game. Like, changes are important, like game by game, I think, but because it keeps it fresh. But season by season, where you just add a new move and a mix up, it's so fun. I think they need to stop adding new moves for characters. I'm not even joking. I think they should just focus on character balance and like
this is something.
Changes.
This is something that people have. I remember I was watching a video recently on it, and it was specifically about Street Fighter. And I don't know a whole lot about Street Fighter, but I think it was Terry in Street Fighter 6. They increased the plus frames on one of his moves by 2 frames. I don't really care a whole lot when someone gives me a number. 2 frames doesn't sound like a lot as a number. The idea is more like, what are the implications of that, right? So a character like Steve, for example, his peekaboo stance seems pretty intently designed so that certain moves aren't really plus, and he has to use some kind of turnstile aspect to a move in order to pretend that he's plus. So like you do a peekaboo 1 jab, I think you're neutral on block, and your fastest option is 12 frames, right? That's like an intently balanced thing. And this was something that they did with Terry, which apparently opened up a whole lot for the character. They just made it 2 frames faster, and it's not necessarily he now gets overwhelming pressure or anything. It's just now he's got 1 checking option that can beat a few more options, and the spacing on the move allows him to set up these other options. The devs have so much they can work with to fine-tune this game into something incredible just off of stuff like that. So I'd probably agree with you, and I think they've learned from this patch. Like 1,500 patch notes is crazy. That's a lot. Maybe in future we can actually just work more on toning what we've got into something that we want to see.
Yeah, so and that's I think why a lot of people aren't happy with the game, because the idea that people liked that many changes and that many moves, it is kind of ridiculous. Nobody, listen, a lot of people like me, you, and other people that, like, you know, they work full time, they do TOing, they do organizing, they do like other stuff on the side, and come back home and want to play Tekken, and then the game mixed. It's not a fun aspect at all. Nobody likes it. No one's enjoying it. I think they just need to tone. Like, I think season 1, even I didn't like season 1 a bit at the end. For the top tiers, like my hope was they just nerf the top tiers and then maybe the game is okay. I still don't like season 1 at the end. I don't know why everyone's glorifying it. I think Chip was such a dumb, like Kuma was such a dumb aspect of season 1. He summarized the problems with season 1.
It's just it's the Tekken cycle. It's any game franchise really. It's like new game comes out, it's shit. and then new season comes out
Previous
or new
patch.
game. Oh, previous game was amazing. It was fantastic. Bring back season 1.
Bro,
That was Tekken. That was real Tekken.
7 was probably the worst like rose tinted like glasses I've ever seen in my life, because
Yeah.
I remember the same people that said 7 is a boring game that you can't like hit and stuff, and I'm like, you're watching like maybe the top tier players do it, the rest can't really do this.
Yeah.
And I think I want to call out some people. The people that said this was like the NA guys. Like shout, like SpeakX is he's my homie, right? SpeakX and Fia my homie, but these guys, you don't listen to these people, bro. They're wrong and they're shit at the game. Okay, do not listen to these guys. All right, they do not have good opinions regarding season 1 of Tekken 8 when they said it was good and fun. It wasn't. I don't think it was. And
I
they
think
said
no. To be fair to them, you guys do have Kane and Trench and Nino. You've got 2 absolute crackheads playing the characters that could make a game ruined for you. Like,
oh yeah, I mean that's true. That's true.
The NA top players, they play Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play Jax. No, but what I'm trying to say is that like there was a lot of like I saw again. I'm not saying these guys are stupid. They're very good friends of mine, by the way. Like I invited Fee to Golden Letters. I pushed for him to get. Me and Spag pushed for Speed to come, and we speak to him regularly. But I don't agree with like the proper, and people follow their opinions a lot, which I think is a good and bad thing. It can go both ways, because I think at the end of the day, they're very positive content creators that have helped a lot of people. They've helped a lot of people get good at this game. I've like spoken to Speed about Steve, and he's showed me things that I didn't think about before, or even Fee plays Steve, and I've learned a lot from him. But them like saying, I feel like Tekken 7 Season 4 was really boring, but when I saw it, I think it was really peak, honestly. I think the game was I think it had problems for sure, but I still feel like it was fun to watch, like high level plays. And that's the issue with like, what you mentioned, that everyone thinks that this season was good and that season was good. It's like, no, it's not really that good. It's weird in retrospect. It's just like you don't remember what you had last time because of how bad the food you have right now. So
yeah, for real.
It's weird, like what they're gonna do. Like again, the problem is they have a long task ahead, and time is a ticking bomb. Because I'm just seeing more tweets saying Tekken is a dead game. The developers have killed the game intentionally, which makes zero sense.
And it leaks out into tourism. Like you see channels like Score Esports and stuff like that, who are then starting to cover on stuff like what's happening to Tekken 8. And even in instances where it's clear they're not trying to make a claim that the game's dead, I think that's a controversial topic, and I think a lot of like more publication level organizations try to avoid making such terms and such claims. It shows out in the comments section. Like the top comment will be, this patch killed the game for me. And it's like, can you imagine how many players were on the fringes who don't really know enough about Tekken to realize how deep it is and how much they can learn, and maybe they haven't quite got the bug yet, and then they see something like that? That's exactly the kind of person who's not going to play the game. And it's super sad, because they might actually find something they love with Tekken 8. I think a lot of people who play Tekken get the bug at some point if they stick with it for long enough. Because as Hangman mentioned earlier, there's certain Tekken specific things that you just can't find elsewhere. That sidestep launch, like that feels amazing. And
that back one you get, bro.
Oh, the back
when you back one someone with timing, bro. I'm telling you, the reason why we play Steve is because we throw our back on, and then sometimes we think about the placing. Sometimes we throw it randomly, right? But maybe most of the time. But when we have that idea of the spacing, the timing, and it fucking lands, and that animation zooms in, you feel like you've won at the world or something. It's the sickest thing.
Dude,
like,
this podcast is named after the biggest dopaminergic rush they've added to this game. Swindler, dude.
Yeah.
When I hit someone with raw Swindler in neutral, like not even back one setup, just up back 2-1 in neutral, hitting them with like a 37 frame counter hit launcher, it's just like, dude, this is Tekken.
It's sick.
This is Tekken.
This is Tekken. Yeah, this is Tekken. That's something Gosane tells me a lot when I play him. He kills me with timing, and he said, "This is Tekken." That's like the joke we say, and it is Tekken. Timing it's a beautiful thing in any sport game, or anything you do in life. It's like, how good is your timing? You can make the game go slow-mo for yourself. It's really incredible when you get good at stuff.
It's funny you say that. That's like a running joke for the UK scene, because the running joke here is you ask any like top level New South Wales or Victorian player how to improve after they kick your ass in a set, and they just turn and blankly look at you and go, "Oh, yeah, you're doing pretty well. Maybe just work on your timing."
Yeah,
It's like, dude,
no,
you motherfucker.
dude,
But it's real.
no.
So real,
Ask-
so real.
if you ask Joker like how to get good, he always says timing is the most important thing. It's what someone told me when I started the game, that like improve your timing. And yeah, I think playing Steve helped me a lot with that, with other characters as well. But yeah, getting back to what you said about like, you know, the top comments and negativity, this is why I feel like these content creators need to just like just leave our scene, because they are really pushing this narrative that Tekken has gone, I don't know, like woke, or it's gone worse or whatever, and like don't play it. Like, and again, like I would not have played Tekken if it wasn't for like a good positive video talking about the competitive scene,
Yeah.
which is so huge, and it's still undercovered in my opinion, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like we need to really tackle these issues, and I don't know what to do as a TO, because I don't like quote tweeting people saying you're stupid.
Yeah.
I can do that, and I could go full force, but again, it's helping getting these people get more notoriety, and doesn't look good for our scene. So
Well,
all I can do is
yeah, go.
no, all I can do is just, you know, put on good events, play the game,
Yeah.
try to spread the love and positivity, and yeah.
Well, I want to like go out on a more positive note, because the last thing that I've got written
Yes,
down
sir.
here is, what are your hopes for the future of both competition in the UK and I suppose Tekken in general, as both a social game, as a competitive game, as something that you love just as a player? What are your hopes for the future?
Well, I think personally, like Tekken. So if we start with like Tekken overall, I think Tekken overall, like coming to the Tekken World Tour, I think they need to change the World Tour's production. I think the production sucks. I've worked in so many esports events, even like Tekken events, like Golden Letters and stuff. Like Namco has budget. And I'm not gonna say much more, because I think some people in the chat probably know the people I'm talking about. But the people that run the tour sometimes just are very cheap.
Yeah.
They only hire 3 casters or 4 casters. Now it's actually free because they save more costs again. Even though they're given more budget again. And instead of like having a host or an analyst, if you watch a Dota event, right?
Oh, it's so
There's
big.
about like 10. Yeah, there's 10 staff.
Yeah.
There's a guy that does the replays. There's a guy that does, you know, the analyst. There's the host.
Mhm.
There's the 6 different commentators. There are people that do the post match like interview. There's people that go into the crowd and speak to the crowd. There are people that, you know, talk about the game and like the meta. You know, there's like there's so many like moving parts for like talent.
Mhm.
Why can't fighting games get out of this like 2010 like production level of I want to see people talk about the game. I want to see people teach me. I don't want to just learn from the commentary, because I learned a lot of the game through Spag or Rip talking about or Aris talking about, you can do this in this situation, right? That's what I learned. But imagine we had a replay system like UFA does it, right? They're like, okay, this happened, this scenario, can you break it down for us? You know, we've done that for Golden Letters like a few times. These are things that every other esport has, and Tekken and FGC is still behind, where they don't have more talent. Like people like Pun Life, bro. Like I'll say this out loud. The fact Pun Life is not chosen for master events to this day, it shocks me. Outside of versus fighting, like this guy does so much for the scene. This guy does so much. He's an amazing commentator, but he does so much analysis in terms of data, right? He knows the crunch numbers so well. Why isn't there a role for Pun Life when he goes to an event? He's like, okay, guys, you're talking about this, but here's the stats for this player against this player. Here's this against that. Dude, do you know how fucking interesting that is to bring up these numbers where we can just start talking about it as to the conversation, etc. Like, there's so many things we can do for production that is possible. It's not impossible. If you think it's impossible, they're lying to you. Anything's possible, bro.
And it breaks up the logistical reality of tournaments a bit, because something that doesn't get spoken about enough is fighting game tournaments that are running on this kind of format, where you've only got like 3 hosts for like the whole event. Those hosts might technically be working like 13-hour shifts plus, and running around doing interviews between matches, trying to get content sorted, trying to do this and that, all this free promotion, and then having to still have the voice come day 3 of your major to be able to pop off on the mic and not feel completely delirious and worn out. The like part of the perks of companies that are running esports events for stuff like Dota is the quality of life for the human beings on the floor. Like, you have 10 people, it seems like a lot, but it's like, but all of those people are able to fire on all cylinders because they're not completely worn down, you know?
Yeah. Stop like revolving Tekken around like free commentators for a master event and revolve it around the people that build,
Mhm.
you know, the actual offline scene. You know, people like Pun Life, the analysts. You know, Sam the Ding. I know, I'll be open. I know a lot of people didn't like his commentary, but he was a really fucking good host. He can talk in a mic. Like he can like host a tournament. Like he hosted a Celtic Throwdown. And I think he did a lovely job. I can host like even like SPAC can host. There's desk hosts and stuff like that. Like these are things that we can have and try to do. That's why for the next crew cup, I really want to push for this. Like, you know, can we have a host? Can we have an analyst? Can we do different stuff? You know, I wanna. If Namco's I'm gonna do it, I'll fucking do it, bro. Because I feel like it's possible, and you gotta work for it, and that's my dream. You know.
Absolutely.
And I guess for the UK scene, you know, I think the UK scene is in a good spot. We got a lot of new players. You know, we've got Sega, we've got Dev KO, we've got Wagboy, we've got 4E, we've got so many like new talent, Neon, Aram, you know, such like vast array of talent that's come up now, from 8 or like end of 7. I feel like I maybe had to be one of those players where like, oh, I gotta like, you know, help the UK travel more.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can trust those guys. They can take the role. I'll do my part, they'll do their part, and then, you know, my dream is that, you know, they start traveling, get sponsorships, do their bit. But I do think right now we got to be a bit critical about the UK. I think there's some people that are very arrogant, and they know who they are. You know, I'm calling you guys out. And some people that don't feel like they have to travel. Some people that think they don't like the game and they haven't traveled for like, I don't know, the last 3 seasons of different Tekkens or whatever. You know, like it's the reason why we're number 2 in Europe. Germany don't care. Germany just says we go, we play, we become the best.
They show up.
The German and the UK mindset is so vast and different. You know, I think Germany is number 1, and they're gonna be number 1 for some time, unless the UK pulls up more. Because I want the UK to be the best. You know, we got people like Joka, Gosane, K-Wiz, Kenny Trench, but they're not gonna be there forever. You know, we all have some of us have full-time jobs now. We're not gonna be there, you know, to hold the helm. So I really hope like the new players understand, like, you know, like those players stand on the shoulders of people like, you know, Dinosaur and stuff like that. So Ryan Hart, etc. So like, you know, you've got a big task ahead of you. I believe in them. They got a lot of potential. They're new. You know, they've got that dog in them, as they say. But you know, keep working hard, do your bit, help your locals, and yeah.
There it is. Well, Chop, thank you so much for joining us on this. It was really good to go out on a higher note because we love the game. We love the scene. We love the community. We love the competition and the storylines. And there's so much good that can come out of this scene that's yet to come. This is something that Melee players always say. It's one of my favorite taglines in any esport. There's so much Melee left to be played. Those guys are going on 30 years and 40, 50, who fucking knows at this point. And they're still developing the meta. They're still running crazy events. And it's like, we've got a game that's actively being worked on. And it's a one-of-a-kind game, just like Melee. It's its own thing. And we just need to keep pumping out the positivity because that's the only way it's going to thrive.
Yep.
But thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who aren't following... for those of you who aren't following Chop, check him out on Twitter. I've just got it up on the screen at, is that MLK?
Yeah, that is that's a strange RO name. A lot of people, you know, I don't look at my followers number. It's not pretty good right now.
Don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Yeah, someone needs to follow me so we can change that number. I was a brown person. It's not looking too good, guys.
It's not looking too good, but maybe one of you guys can save the day. Maybe we don't have to worry about this one. No, thank you so much for joining us, dude. It's been an absolute honor.
No, I hope I can do this again. Maybe we're like Spag, Joka, Gosane. It'd be really cool.
I think we'd love to get a few more UK guys on, so maybe we'll tee you up with someone else and we'll have a good old discussion.
We love the Commonwealth brotherly love with Australia, UK. You know, shout out to you guys. You know,
I don't know if you know,
cousins.
I'm from the UK. I'm from Harlow.
What?
Yeah, dude. I'm from Harlow. Really? Essex represent. Yeah. I lived there for about 10 years.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Shit. Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if Essex has a scene or not. I really want to visit the UK again. I've got family over there.
Come, bro.
I want to go to all your events. I want to go meet Waldo up in Scotland.
Yeah.
It'll be good, man. It'll be fucking good.
Aussie talk. Absolutely.
But we might roll it up there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of the Swindler podcast featuring Chop. Go give him a follow. And I'm going to send you guys all on your merry way. We'll do a quick raid and we'll call it a night. But dude, it's been a fucking blast. How you feeling about Steve this patch, man?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I think he's probably like he's probably shit now. He's like top 5. He's so broken
He's
right
too
now.
good, dude. You
He's-
get the wall with Steve in this patch. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the Steve cycle. You know, he's like semi decent at the end of the first version of the game, and then Namco's like buff him.
Yep.
So yeah, you know how it goes.
You know how it goes. But I'm going to send all of you guys to a miscellaneous Japanese streamer that I'm following. I don't know who he is or what he's
Korean.
up to. Oh, he's a Korean dude. Sorry. Wait, who is this? Who is
Yeah.
this?
He's a legendary. He's a legendary player.
What's the name? What's the tag?
Oh wait, that's your name. What the hell? Poultry. Oh,
Nah, that's me, dude. I wish I was that
Oh,
list.
shit.
Gura. It's Gura. I'm sending you guys over to Gura. Have a blast. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
cool. Love, guys. Bye.